An hour later.
Bumblebee now. Howdy there, internet people. Internet personality with the best hair here, Jake.
And Leon.
And the rest. And company. We're doing a On the Road with BP. Today we got a special one for you. We're actually going up north, Prescott Valley we'll call it, to look at some property. 40 acres up north, about an hour maybe off the highway. So it's pretty far out there. No water, no power, wooded, in the middle of nowhere.
Trying not to get lost.
Trying not to get lost. We're just trying to make our way up there, for starters. It's a good drive. Probably make it in 2:45 is my guess. See how long we can go without stopping. But I think 2:45 is a very reasonable amount of time. It says 3:15 on Google, but I think with my impressive driving abilities and how nice and open the roads are, we should be able to do that no problem. Tell them where we are, Liam.
Currently, we are under the Earth's sun.
Everywhere
right
the light touches. We're on the 17 in Arizona.
Headed toward Black Canyon City.
Black Canyon City right now, just outside of Black Canyon City. Up towards Prescott Valley. It's a holiday weekend. And this is what you chose to do with your extra day off.
Yeah. Good call.
Good call. Well, so, I mean, it is actually quite a thing, because it's probably, realistically, let's just say 3 hours there and 3 hours back, at the very least. So you're talking 6 hours straight of driving.
Yeah.
I bet you we won't spend an hour there.
No.
We were talking about going up to a town called Ash Fork. It's not very large, but it's the closest town to where this property is, to try to take the back way out, which is a little rougher. You know, the Boy Racer does have four-wheel drive. So we're hoping, though, we can get there by car. But we took the truck today just to make sure. We're in the melt season, is what the realtor says. So muddy roads are a real concern.
I think we got this.
I'm not too worried. I just put some bigger tires on the truck. I want to say just for this, but I've been wanting to get them for a while. I only got the back ones done because they only had 3 tires. So I got the 2 back ones done, and I got a full-size spare of the bigger tires, I guess, because I got 2 in the front and another full-size spare for the smaller tires.
That's all you need.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 2 full-size spares should be fine. We brought some shovels and some wood in case we get stuck. We can try to dig our way out. Hopefully.
We won't get stuck, though.
We won't get stuck. Hopefully we won't get stuck. So I'm not sure what melt season means, but this place also gets snow. Just this last couple weeks, there's been snow up there. So I think we were looking at it's about 6,000 feet elevation, and it gets about 12 inches of rain and 12 inches of snow a year, if I remember correctly. Something like that. So we'll see how it goes. It is wooded, very wooded, especially for Arizona.
Just turned on the AC, Jake. Got it back here.
All right. We are in Arizona, so it is spring for us. I mean, today's going to be relatively cold, but we're still probably pushing mid-60s. Up here, I think the weather said it was going to be 50 degrees. Driving up there right now, it looks like it's actually raining. So, that'll be perfect.
Hopefully it's not snowing.
Hopefully it's not snowing. Shit, I didn't even think about that. Once we actually get up north, it might be snowing. Maybe once we get out of these valleys, I might flip the camera around, show you what I'm talking about, because it looks like we're about to drive into a storm. We're running into a little bit of traffic too.
Blizzard. conditions.
I don't know. Do they have blizzards in Arizona? Is that a thing?
Sure. I think any place that has snow can have blizzards.
All right.
Right?
All right. Blizzards conditions possible. We'll just leave it at that. We might be taking to Junction 69 just for fun.
69.
Let's see what Google says. Part of the claim to fame for the area we're going to be in is its clinging remnants of a skeletal Route 66 historic highway. So there's a lot of that. I want to say a lot. There's probably some of that up there. Why there's even people in this godforsaken part of the world to begin with is because the 66 drove through there at some point.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, we were looking at some property outside of a town called Schlegman, which is the next town over from Ashford. It's basically the same area we're looking at right now. And so we did go through Schlegman to see, what the closest town had to offer. And it had 1 mile of historic Route 66 with authentic period buildings and everything. A couple of an ice cream shop and some hotels and stuff, but it did not look nice. I'm assuming that was authentic too.
Yeah, well, Ashford is going to blow smegma out of the water.
Well, to be fair, Schmegman is a little bit bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is bigger.
Might be bigger.
I think Ashford is a 1-bar town.
Well, it's true.
And then I think Schmegma is like a 2 or 3-bar town.
All right. That's a pretty good scale. 1-bar town. That sounds about right. And to be fair, what is it, like an hour away from where the property is?
Yeah, at least.
And it's probably just an hour because it's like dirt roads. And, Google says you can only drive 15 on a dirt road, which I'm pretty sure I can drive faster than that.
I think you can triple that.
I probably could. I mean, physically I could, especially with bigger tires. But I don't know. I like to let the driving conditions dictate my speed.
Boy Racer wants to run, Jake.
Boy Racer wants to run. There ain't no stopping that. Constantly having to rein her in. I do have some ideas for that Boy Racer video. I think that'll clear up a lot of the confusion around the Boy Racer, which is me, and the Mark I, which is the truck. Even though sometimes I call the truck the Boy Racer.
So you can see where the confusion is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think the video will really help clear things up a bit.
Video coming next year.
I'm hoping to do it this spring. I want to film it when we go camping. Yeah, I got a couple ideas. I'm going to make it like crucifixion themed and overtly sexual. Like between me and the truck, like we have sex is going to be the implication. And then part of it's going to be me being crucified and then like tied up in the back of the truck, like I'm on the cross. And I'm maybe going to like get some fake blood and do like a stab wound in the side and stuff. I got some stuff worked out. Tie myself up. I'll get my devil mask out.
I've never been struck by lightning.
What do you mean?
It's beyond me.
It's homage, we'll call it. I like that. It makes it sound fancy. Just coming up on Yavapai County, I think their claim to fame is they have some of the largest plateaus in the world. Look at this fucking view. Table Mesa over here. Here, flip this around for me, would you?
Now we are in.
Oh, did we make it to Black Canyon?
This is Black Canyon City. This building on the side of the road.
There's some buildings. It looks like there used to be a mine or something here. I don't know if you can make it out, but there's like a huge flat gray spot up on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, but just because there was a mine here in the 1800s doesn't mean you have to stay here forever.
See, that's kind of how I feel about Schmegman.
Yeah.
That place, man. It's like, okay, so Route 66 drove through your town 50 years ago.
See, 50 or 60.
I mean, I don't know how long it's been. Flip it back around with you. I don't know how long it's been. We use your other hand. But I mean, you know, there's a reason nobody takes the 66 anymore, right? That's how I feel about all these crappy little towns. Fortunately for us, like on the trip to Vegas, for example, they're making the highway bigger and they're bypassing all those crappy little towns.
Right.
Yes, very good. And I know that they're going to die, and I'm sure it's sad in its own way. But all they ever were speed traps.
BJ,
Yes.
it's time.
It's time to let old things die. Say what you will about the new Star Wars trilogy. It probably has one of the best lines in all of humanity. It's time to let old things die. Ain't that the God's honest truth? You know what would help? Some property up north. Really take BP to the next level.
Yep.
Some training grounds. Start training people. I don't know, somehow train them to do things. I don't know. I never really understood the appeal of training them. You know, you can do a lot with 40 acres. We don't like to make inappropriate jokes about 40 acres either.
Too soon,
I was just going to say something about getting a mule, but all right, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were looking up some stats on it, and you're allowed to have something like 6 cows on the property. And I actually know somebody who's like a cow guy, by which I mean he's trying to grow his own cows, his own breed of cows. He did grow a bunch, and they were delicious. I can tell you I bought and traded and baked for as much meat as he would give me. And it was hard. Because apparently there's weird laws about how you sell meat in Arizona specifically. Like you need to have it processed a special way to sell it in, you know, like steaks and hamburger and stuff, right? And so you have to, it's basically like you have to go through like the Butcher's Guild to have them process the meat so you could sell it as steaks and things, if I got that correct. I'm not 100% sure on the law because I never looked it up, but he was saying that he was having trouble selling it because you can't just be like, oh, I got this meat on the back of my truck, I grew it myself. And maybe it was something to do with how you sell it. So if you're talking about selling it like you know, like, oh, this is a New York cut, or this is you know, like a tenderloin or whatever, that they actually have to be that. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he was having trouble selling it, and so that's why I said trade, because he couldn't sell it conventionally. I'm not sure, it was weird, but man, it was so good.
Maybe he could barter with his meat.
Yeah, basically. Or I don't know, maybe I'm part libertarian after all, and it's like that's just a way to get around it. There's no sales tax, there's no, you know, money changing hands. It's like traded for goods and services or whatever, you know.
We're almost to the town of Bumblebee and Crown Point.
Pull out the phone real quick and make sure we stay on the 17, because I don't know if we hop on some weird little freeway to get up there, some weird little interstate. What's it called? State route?
Yeah, state route.
If we get on like the 70, or, you know, I was making that joke about the 69, but
I think we ride this train all the way.
We do take the 69 north.
do we?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't say how far. It should. I mean, not how far.
All the way.
That's not what I meant. How much longer do we have? Does it say like 10 miles?
14 miles.
Okay. I just need a rough idea when to look out for it. But yeah, because I kind of was looking at the route myself, and I remember that. So is there 2 ways to get up there? Does it say like if you take the 17, it'll be 5 minutes longer?
Yeah, 33 minutes slower.
Okay,
But
well
the 17's close for blasting.
okay, yeah, we'll just take the way it tells us to go. We're trying to go the way Google says for the most part, because we want to try to make it in a car. That's like the big thing, you know, is if you can only get there in a 4-wheel drive truck, you're kind of limited to who you can bring, how many people can go at one time, you know, those kind of issues. So one of the criteria we want for land accessible by car. You know, little Toyota Corolla, for example, or something along those lines. The other two criteria are it needs to be wooded, and we have to be able to afford it, obviously. Those are the three criteria we're working on. So accessible by car, wooded, and we can afford it, which I thought was pretty good. I bring this up every video we make, just about. I just saw a slower traffic keep right sign, and I love it. I wish every road all the time had those signs everywhere. And
Well,
if you...
technically, you're not supposed to drive in the left lane.
I'm not. I only drive in the left lane to pass me. It just so happens that I'm
You
always
can't
passing.
just say that you're always passing.
Well, I'm not, because if somebody gets behind me, I get over.
This is why I think the police need to pull people over for driving in the left-hand lane.
No, you got it completely backwards. The police need to pull people over for driving slow in the fast lane.
No, just
Yes.
driving in this lane.
No, you got it 100%. Because if you're going to drive fast, you should definitely be in this lane. And it's like I said, I'm not the fastest driver. I'm not the fastest driver by any means. Stephanie calls me the fastest slow driver, which I kind of like. Because there's always people that get behind me that I'm not willing to drive that fast. So I gladly get over and let them by. You know, I don't want to hold them up, for one thing. I think that's rude.
Sunset Point's closed.
It looks like they're doing work out here. Probably building a fire
It's like
line.
a lot of work.
I wonder if they're going to put the freeway closer together. You know, like make this whole area the other lane going that way, and then get rid of this old one, and make a nice big new one. But it's probably just access for service vehicles and stuff.
It's weird.
It is weird. What he's actually talking about is they're doing a lot of work in between the two directions of the highway. This part of the highway is separated. You know, northbound on one side, southbound on the other, with a pretty substantial gap in between. And they're doing a lot of work in the middle. It looks like they're adding at least 2 lanes in the middle, at least for a good section of it. Probably why the rest stop is closed.
Donuts, Chippies.
I'm good on that right now. I was just thinking about how great it would be to own a Starbucks franchise. You don't like Starbucks? Starbucks is where it's at, man.
I feel like it's okay at best.
Well, I think that's better than a lot of coffee. Most
That's okay
coffee. Let's do it. You like Circle K coffee, huh?
The best, freshest coffee going.
Freshest coffee going, because they have those automatic coffee grinders per cup.
Yep.
All right. Then that's like appealing to you?
You know, each one of those machines,
Yes.
$9,500.
10 grand for a coffee machine?
Yep.
Jesus.
So if you wanted to rob a
GPS
Circle
signal
K,
lost.
you would be better off stealing their coffee machines than you would,
How much do they weigh?
if I had to guess,
Yeah, just throw a number out there.
30 pounds.
Oh, that's not too bad. Take them out one at a time. What's the resale on it? I got a bunch of used coffee machines from Circle K. Wait a minute.
I bet you could slang it for at least $4,000.
Do they're hooked up to a water line, obviously.
To a what?
Water line?
Yeah.
Is it hot water?
No.
Okay, so it's just a regular water.
Yeah, you can't run hot water to any equipment.
Why not? All right.
Why?
I said why not?
It has to do with, I believe, pressure.
Okay. Sounds like one of those K-cup machines where it just heats up water per
serving.
serving.
The hot water line will move or flex or
don't they use those metal flexible lines?
No, we used to hook everything up with John Guess.
What's that?
It's that quick fit.
Oh, like shark
plastic.
bite stuff? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what they did for our shower. Right?
It works great.
Yeah, okay. I've seen that before. It doesn't look great. It looks like cheap plastic stuff.
It does. It absolutely does. But
And-
it works real well, and you don't have to be a plumber to use it.
Yeah, see, I'm a pipe fitter by trade, so I deal copper piping, right? All the time, copper pipe. And then to see it like, how is it going to hold up to the pressure? How is it gonna not get brittle? Oh, look at that connection. What is that? A zip tie? You don't even zip tie it because they just fit together, right? You don't
And
have to put
red
clamps on.
clips.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? You gonna know hose clamps? It's like, oh my god. And then they secure it with those like, you use it for like Cat 5 wire, the little like Qs or whatever, and you put a screw in it to stick it to the wall. And you're like, what are you doing? What is this? You're gonna turn pressure on in this?
It works.
It works. It's alarming. It makes me concerned.
Well, the problem that we were having plumbing with copper was jackasses would move
Yeah, move
coffee
the machine.
equipment,
Yep.
and the second you move old copper, it's going to get bent, and then it's going to leak, and
Yep.
then it's going to be an emergency.
Yeah, water damage is fire, flood, or blood. Something you have to respond to. Everybody's in the fast lane, and nobody's moving fast. It ain't right.
See, if people would leapfrog like they're supposed to.
We're actually in quite a bit of traffic now that I look behind us. Bloody Basin Road. We're getting up into what I would consider almost the ideal elevation. In Arizona, like, there's a lot of different climates, I'm sure, just like everywhere else, right? But we're in the valley, which is like the low-lying hot area, the desert, where people are like, oh, it's so hot. That's Phoenix, right? As you go up north, you get to the 7,000 foot range. That's where you're talking about Prescott, Payson, Ash Fork, like where we're going right now, the Prescott Valley. And that has snow, like I said, 12 inches a year or something. I forget exactly, but it was something like that. And so, yeah, because I remember it roughly being, it was like 22 to 24 inches, and it was about half rain, half snow, kind of thing.
What's going on?
I don't know. We're coming almost to a standstill on the highway. In the fast lane, I might add.
That's because people drive in the fast lane and they're not supposed to.
Yes, you're right. I'm right there with you, Leon. We're saying the same thing. You're just getting caught up on the wrong part. So slow traffic needs to keep right. That's exactly correct. So as I am driving in the fast lane, can just fly by them all without having to get behind them and flash my lights or go around them, which is a lot more dangerous than them getting out of my way. And that's the problem, is they're so inconsiderate. And I think it's just that. I think they're so oblivious to anything but their own wants and desires that they're not doing it like out of malice or whatever. They're not like, oh, look, this guy can't go fast because I don't want him to drive fast. So the whole thing that was stopping traffic was a cop had somebody pulled over on the side of the road. And because we are in Arizona, he's not even pulled over. Somebody's broke down being assisted by the police. And that stops everybody for 2 miles.
It was a woman. She probably wasn't used to driving that big a vehicle.
It was a big truck. It was a big truck. And she's probably not. She was probably riding the gas way too hard. You hear the engine revving, the boy racer, but I'm only pushing 2,000 RPM, you know? I don't like to even come close to 4. I usually top out around 3. Somebody accuses me of I'm going to mushroom the pistons because I never push it harder. But it's like, oh, how could you push it harder? It's my baby. As we drive by, all the toy haulers broke down. Those are the ones. When you get stuck behind one of those people because they're trying to pass somebody, that's equally as ridiculous with their stupid giant trailer. And it's like they're racing down the highway at 55, burning each other's engines out because they don't want to let each other pass. It's like, get out of the way. Slow traffic, keep right. California has all kinds of laws about towing and shit where you can't even get out of that lane. I know I've been talking quite a bit about driving around in California today. But when I get stuck in traffic in Arizona...
Hey, we're up to 69.
Bust out your thing.
I think we need to get over.
All right.
Good.
69 it is.
In a quarter mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 262 for Arizona 69 north toward Prescott.
All right.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 262. Continue for 16 miles.
Perfect. All right, let's get a look at some gas prices. We purposely didn't fill up, and we're fucked.
What?
Oh, $3.49?
That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
I was looking at the wrong one. Diesel's through the fucking roof.
Ouch.
Diesel's always like that. Though.
Diesel used to be cheaper.
Yeah, I know. And then you process it less. So why is it more expensive?
Because gas companies can charge more for it. You know, record profits. The profitiest time in their entire history of profits.
Profitiest?
Profit. I mean, I'm not some sort of
Profitable?
economic doctor or whatever, but
Yeah,
profitist.
there's snow up there.
Yeah. So we're on Cordes Lakes Road. Just got on the 69 up towards Prescott. What town is this? Yeah, see, this is now it's highway speeds. It just turned on its own.
What?
The camera. You
Yeah,
didn't hear
just-
that beep?
Head
did. I didn't know what
southwest
that
on
was.
Central Avenue toward Eldon Drive.
Ooh, this is going to be fun.
It'll be fine. Actually, you're probably right. I wonder if we should come out.
Should have gone down that road and then looped around and then busted a U. I think that might have been easier than doing this, but
Well,
we can always do it.
we can get to the road right here. You're thinking here?
I hate making lefts across the highway.
Well, normally it wouldn't be such a big deal, but there's like a hill right there, and I don't think I can't really see over the hill. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of our problem there. Oh, what the fuck?
What?
Just the way the road is right here.
Take the next left onto Copper Road, then turn left. Continue on Arizona 69 north for 7 miles.
330 gas.
How many pumps did they have?
Gilligan's.
I didn't
Just
even. I was gonna say it. I didn't even see the pump.
Just one.
All right, we're back on the road again. After some technical issues and the needing to stop and get gas, we're finally moving. Only 90 minutes behind schedule, but it's fine. We're not really keeping track. This is a fun trip.
We're having fun.
We're having fun. This is what we choose to do on our time off, which is actually pretty fun because there's nothing like going up and looking at land. And you know, you have to go look at land. Land is one of the many things you cannot buy sight unseen. Like if you were going to buy a used ambulance, for example, you'd probably want to go take a look at it before you bought it. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what you're paying. If you're going to go take a look at, if you're going to buy land, though, you have to go look. And for one, you have to make sure it's accessible, because you'd be surprised at how often they sell land that you can't even get to. It's crazy. But we're right outside of Prescott Valley, so we're actually getting pretty close. What's ETA for the next leg of the journey?
5.5 miles to stay on 69 north.
Yeah, it branches off onto the freeway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're I mean, we're at snow height. We're having ice warnings on the road. And I mean, literally, we can see the snow line. What do they call it? The frost line? The snow line? Whatever you want to call it. The elevation where the snow's falling. We're like right there. Something I was trying to say before we lost video on the last one is coming up from the valley, which is obviously very hot, but you don't have a lot of things, natural disasters and stuff there. But if you come up out of the valley, maybe 45 minutes, you get to what's probably about 4,000 feet elevation, maybe a little bit higher, and it's not very pretty. It's high desert, so it's a lot of scrub and cactus, but the temperature is so temperate, I guess would be the way to put it. It barely gets below freezing, and it barely gets to 90 degrees. So really, for most of the year, you don't need any sort of heating or cooling. And if you don't mind a 45-minute drive, I mean, you could work in the city and then live in someplace like Rye or Sunflower that's, you know, a lot more temperate than the valley. Probably 20 degrees cooler.
GPS signal lost.
Yeah, but who wants to live in Rye?
Well, Rye's a shithole. Don't get me wrong. Rye's so funny because there's like the town of Rye, Rye proper, we'll call it. And it's small and mostly trailer parks. And, you know, there's like one bar. And then about 2 miles outside of Rye, there's like one nice cookie cutter neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the nice part of town, far enough away that you can't really just walk there without, you know. I don't know why, I just find that so funny. And then they drive into town or whatever. They probably drive into Phoenix because there's literally nothing in Rye besides trailer parks and a scrapyard. I think they have an ATV store.
I think the scrapyard's the draw in the town.
The scrapyard, it reminds me of like Jeepers Creepers 3 or something, where the creeper owns some fucking scrapyard and he's like picking up tourists in some podunk ass part of Arizona. And then it just like scraps their vehicles.
Is that nice?
I don't think that's ice, but it's definitely melt. You can see there's a pile of snow. So that's probably where they plowed up the road, would be my guess. I don't think it's ice though. Because if it is, then the fucking road is covered with it. You know what they use instead of
salt?
They don't use salt. I was just about to say that. They use like lava rock and like pumice stone now instead of salt.
Is the salt is corrosive?
Exactly. That's exactly correct. So it could be like pumice stone, which seems like it would cause its own problems, right? Because then you'd have all that like fine dust in the air.
It's not bad for you.
Well, I mean, it's like little tiny razor blades.
It's good for you. Don't scare it down.
It's true. It probably toughens up your lungs.
Yeah.
That scar tissue makes it play.
Strengthens your
Over time, definitely strengthens. It's pretty nice houses over here. So we're just about to leave. Oh, look. We're in Dewey Humboldt. Elevation 4,600. I refuse to believe that there were people here in 1876. There's nothing out here.
Here's why.
Because it's between two nothing towns. You're going to go from Mayor to Prescott Valley.
There has to be mines. That's
Well,
the only reason.
it did look like there were mines in, what was that city, Black Canyon? Or whatever, when I was making fun of all the plateaus.
That's the only reason that you would live in one of these shit towns.
I
back
guess
in the
that's fair.
1800s.
That's fair. Oh, there's gold in them there hills.
Yeah, because you're a grizzled old prospector.
This town looks like it was funded by fucking grizzled prospectors. RV repairs. They got an auction house. All right.
There's a mine. You see where all the dirt is flacked out on your left?
I can't really see it. There's a big hill in the way.
No, it'll be there when we pass it.
All right, well, I'll check when we pass it briefly. Well, maybe it's a little bit bigger than I thought.
See?
There's some houses in there. Yep, that's definitely mine. That's definitely a mine.
That's how it stays alive. Everyone works in the fucking mine.
Yeah, and you know, like, there's no speed limit signs, which for me always screams speed trap. And this looks like this shitty little town that literally is like a speed trap. That's like their only thing. They got a cafe, some sort of antique house. The auction house makes sense now because they can take their shitty antiques to their crooked ass auction house and they can get them appraised really high, and then they can sell them to tourists and they can be like, this is authentically verified by an auction house saying it's worth, you know, whatever some fucking pass through paid for it. There's the historic district.
The Stark subway.
Flying their Trump flag. Trump 2020. It's like, I think you missed it. That's actually why I wore my Cardinals hat. I figured we're going to red hat country. And this is a good way to low-key blend in. So I put on a tough flannel.
Yeah, you're what we would call passable.
I'm definitely passable. That's why I wear these glasses too. I wore my Rebel glasses, my Cardinals red hat, my flannel.
I mean, I'm passable too.
You're passable. I like your brown hat. That was a nice addition. And your Dickie jacket. It's a good look. We'll blend in pretty well up here.
Yeah.
Blend in pretty well. Mortimer's Farms, right next to the cemetery. Some don't seem right. I'm just gonna say it.
I wonder what you can grow up here.
Look like pumpkins? They have pumpkins on their sign. It's probably just alfalfa though.
Just grow sorghum here.
What's sorghum? Is it like a cover crop or something?
It's a plant that you can extract a sweetener from.
Okay. Looks like we see some sort of fire truck on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, that's not a good
what
sign.
have you.
Well, we're not getting rerouted. Hopefully they're just driving around all this mess. Fortunately, it looks like they are. Yeah, right?
Christmas presents. Mortimer Farms.
Turn for pies and sandwiches. Yeah, we might hit that up on the way back. It's Sunday, though.
A pie?
And this is God's country. So we may run into some issues where nothing's open.
We
Like
don't
the
sell
Chick-fil-A
pies.
that they have in this town somehow?
It's not. The sign said it's another 9 miles away.
Oh, okay.
So,
The police.
motherfucking po-po. Let's see, is it an out-of-town plate? I can't see from here.
No.
All right. Well, if you're going to drive a neon blue Jeep, you probably want to do the speed limit.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I don't get custom plates on this. Because I'd love to get my Jake plates back. But, you know, the truck's already kind of unique looking. And I don't want it to be like, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and this was the license plate. Because it's like an easy thing to remember.
Yeah.
And see, usually I would be complaining because we're stuck behind some little Honda Civic driving in the fast lane. But again, we're in sorghum country.
I have not seen.
The speed limit sign?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this whole fucking town is a speed trap. That's probably what that neon blue Wrangler got caught fucking blowing through some podunk ass little town. I just know it. Fucking know it. They got a Cracker Barrel 8 miles ahead. I wonder if that means we're getting to Prescott or something. Prescott, Ash Fork, 63 miles. So it's actually not too bad of a drive. I mean, realistically, we could be in Ash Fork in another 45 minutes. That's 2.5 hours, maybe? With at least 2 stops and a late start.
No, we started at 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
We could be in Ash Fork in 2.5 hours.
Family Dollar.
Yeah?
Every small town.
Look at this quail wood. There's actually some nice homes over there. Look at the ones far in the distance. There is some trees. I don't know what kind of trees those are. There's definitely some big pines out here. If pines can grow that big out here, that gives me hope for the property. We were talking about it. While the property can support its 6A, 6B There's not a wide variety of things already out there. It's mostly juniper and these dwarf pines make up a majority of it. I mean, I think most of it's actually juniper.
These fucking people. Fucking.
I would have got over if I could.
No, I know. It's that fucking Honda Civic.
That's a different Honda Civic. But yes, stuck behind another Honda Civic, which I would love to have, by the way. Get like a souped up Honda Sportster or something. That'd be like my ideal car. Don't get me wrong. I love this truck. So much so I want to make videos of me having sex with it. But it'd be nice to have a zippy little car.
Where's your gas station?
Yeah, but what's the price? $3.38? Okay, it's an odd price. That was the same price we paid at the last one. 10 cents, well, 9 cents more than Gilligan's.
I wonder if there's a Circle K up here that's like $3.39.
I mean, I do like that style. You know?
Just undercut them by a penny.
Yeah, just one penny cheaper.
And you're like, oh, it's 15 cents over the course of 15 gallons.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what the thing is, you know, like, who was I talking to about this? But I feel like I've reached a point in my life where I'm more like about the clientele of the gas station than I am about the price of the gas. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's like, really, okay, I could save a quarter, maybe 50 cents, which is substantial. You're talking $5, $6, $8. If it's 50 cents, usually that's not quite that dramatic, but, you know, but then you got to deal with like Circle K people, for example. I don't know. I think I'd rather go to a nice mobile or something. Not have to deal with anybody.
There is not one fucking speed limit sign.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. But they do have slow traffic, keep right signs. Kind of small, but they still have them. I don't even remember the name of this goddamn town. But they got some pretty nice tree coverage over here. That's probably a lot like what we're going to be looking at up north.
Yeah.
I guess we're almost there. I can see snow. So we're in the snow line.
They're in the shit.
Yeah, look at that hill over there. That looks like it's peppered with snow right now.
It is.
Looks like it might even be snowing. I think that is what snow looks like when it's falling. I've been to the snow only a handful of times in my whole life. Mostly when Jackie was old enough to start traveling. So we go up north every year to play in the snow. And it's wonderful. And you know what they love to hear when you go up to like Flagstaff or
I'm from the city.
Show Low? No, well, yeah, that's the lead into it. But we come up here to play in the snow once a year. Oh, it's so much fun. Because they fucking hate it. The dirty looks and kind of shit I get for fucking, ooh, we come up every year to play in the snow. I bought a sled up at the Big Five. Because, you know, those cheap-ass fucking sleds, which are probably littered the hills out here. Some out-of-towner comes up, breaks it, leaves it abandoned on a fucking snowbank. Not that I would do that, obviously. All the other out-of-towners.
And it doesn't say the speed limit on your phone?
Nope, it's blanked out. Is that a speed limit sign? 45. All right, I'm not doing too bad.
Arizona 69 north for 1
You'd have to hit recenter. And then it'll say the speed limit.
We do have
That's not what this sign says.
45 now.
That's what the last sign said. I'm telling you, this whole fucking place, you can just tell. This is cop country. This is cop country.
The tractor supply companies, a lot of those move to small towns too, because they're like Lowe's or Ace. But on
Oh,
a
there's your
super
Circle K.
small
What's the
scale.
price over there?
$3.38.
Okay, so they lowered it a penny to match.
Gotta stay competitive.
Yeah, all right.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto North Yavapai Road West.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue with Google. That just don't seem right.
Ooh, a Dairy Queen Grill and Chill.
That means at least they got burgers.
Wants us to take the 89.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I knew we would get on some small-ass roads. We're on the 69 right now, which actually did us better than I thought it would. It was 2 lanes the whole way. Once we start getting into some of these smaller state routes, we get into 1 lane either way. And I can tell you that's where I start to run into problems personally, because you get stuck behind one of those toy haulers or one of the yokels that just want to drive slow for fun, and you're going to be going 45. Even if the speed limit's 55, you should be pushing 60, 65. And then you try to pass them and they speed up. That's what makes me the most angry, is they drive slow until you want to pass them.
Oh, what? You want me to drive fast? Then don't drive fast.
Yeah, go! If you would have done that the whole time, I wouldn't try to pass you.
Take the next right onto North Yavapai Road West.
Is this it?
Oh, East Asia Massage. There's your old rubbing.
No.
tub.
100. Couldn't have been. Oh, well.
That was it.
Continue on East State Route 69 for
That
3/4
seems
of
like
a
not
mile.
the way, right?
It did seem like not the way.
This is not the way.
This is not the way. What I think is happening is it's kicking us across some small podunk-ass town road to meet up with a different highway.
In 600 feet, turn left onto Florentine Road.
Okay.
Left. Left onto Florence. This.
Okay.
Take the next left onto Florentine Road.
Good old Florentine.
So there's the road that we should have been on.
Okay.
That's the next one over. Yavapai. So I wonder if it would have said go on to Yavapai and then, So also, looking at the map, I think I realize what's happening. Sometimes, and this is, I guess, more speculation on my part than anything, but I feel like these podunk-ass little towns can pay Google money, and it'll kick people off the road.
Oh, we should have just gone like around.
Yeah, it'll kick people off the highway to basically drum up business for their shitty little town. You know what I mean? So you have this crappy little town in the middle of fucking nowhere that it just is bypassed by the new highway. So you slip Google $1 million or whatever, and
Continue on Florentine Road for 3/4 of a mile.
they
Careful, Jake. It's 25 here.
they kick people off the road so that all this traffic will then go through your small town.
Yeah.
And then you have all these little crappy things on the side of the road.
Oh, Rusty's
wanna
Pizza
get a
and
ticket here?
Wings.
Yeah. You thinking it's some sort of speed trap?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
You know, it does seem strange that there's so many lokes behind us. These fucking. So I have a feeling, and I actually got this. Speaking of driving through California, Leon, we would go out to California, and where we would stay, there was this stupid 2 highways meet up. And so what Google would do is it would have you get off of the highway in this one small town and drive through it for like 2 or 3 miles to meet up with the highway, a different highway on the other side of it. But if you would have just kept going on that highway, you meet up with that other highway like just past the town, and then you would go completely bypassing the town. You know what I mean?
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto North Glassford Hill Road.
And that's when I started getting suspicious of the whole thing. Because after the second or third time I did it, I was like, it would be quicker, a lot quicker, to just stay on the freeway. But they kick you off, and then you drive through this little town that has a Panda Express, a Sally's, a fucking Walmart. They do have Starbucks.
Jimmy John's.
All right. You see what I'm saying? And it's awfully suspicious that we just happen to be driving by all these local businesses.
Take the next right onto North Glassford Hill Road.
And you see, I mean, as I'm sure you can hear, it's all left, right, left, right, left, right. you'd think there would just be one road that connected them both.
Like this road here
This glass Ford Hill Road.
probably goes all the way to 69 that we were just on.
Continue on North Glassford Hill Road for 3 miles.
All right, well, at least we're on here for a little while. But yeah, you're probably right. If we would have just gone up 2 more exits, we'd be on Glassford Hill Road or whatever, and that would bypass a good portion of what we had to drive through.
This town has a Walmart.
Oh, Walmart.
Oh, is this Prescott Valley?
Yeah, we've been in Prescott Valley for a while. Prescott Valley and Prescott are actually connected. And Prescott Valley and Prescott more than Prescott Valley, is actually a pretty nice little town. Or area, I guess. Because it's not a little town and it's
Nice little
really
area.
spread out. Yeah. Prescott Valley, there's nothing. If you could see what we're seeing, it's flat and grassy. And that is it. Even any of the hills you see, they don't even have bushes on them. Not the best. Not the best. Look at how close these houses are.
Oh, shit.
Which is actually my kind of thing. I love having neighbors. But even more than that, I love not having a yard. Yards are the worst. What kind of chips you get, Leon?
Doritos.
All right. Nacho cheese. Going with a classic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You want some?
No, I'm good. I had a big breakfast before we
I
started.
can feed them to you.
No, that's fine.
All right.
If anything, I just have you put them in my hand. But that's more of a job for shotgun. Part of being the navigator is you have to feed me when I drive. Mostly you just have to hand me drinks.
Yeah, unwrap sandwiches.
Yeah, put snacks in my hand. I don't want to talk too much out of bed or whatever, but my wife is usually my co-pilot, her and Jesus. And we've run into a couple of funny incidences driving around. I wouldn't trade her for the world, but her navigation skills leave a little something to be desired. We were driving out to Carlsbad, California one time, and we're on the freeway just flying, and all of a sudden Google just says, get off at the next exit. Okay. And then you just take that road up for 22 miles or whatever. Okay. And then it says you have arrived. So I drove all the way up to the top of this big ass fucking mountain, and then it just stopped at some state park. And so I'm looking around, and it was a very small town. It had a mobile attached to the state park, which is where we ended up pulling over. And so I'm just like, what is happening? Because we could see the ocean from the top of the mountain. So I went inside and I talked to the lady, and the lady said that, that highway we got off of to come up here, you're supposed to take that all the way to the ocean. And I was like, okay. So I went outside and I looked at Stephanie's phone, and she had somehow, I guess the way she was holding it, like moved the destination from Carlsbad, California to the top of some random mountain. So I just look around, and it's like there's nothing. It's a small town on the top of a mountain. So I gassed up the car, bought an iced tea, and we just drove back down the mountain. And it's like, okay,
I think you're going to want to get in the right lane.
Okay, what's the thing say? Because this is saying to take a left. So what are you basing your assumption on here, Leon?
Is there an off ramp?
I don't know. It says to take a left
All right.
onto. It looks like there's people turning across. It looks like an intersection. So it looks like I can make the left and then come up on the other side of the freeway. So that was fun. I don't let little small things like that bother me. It might have been a little aggravating at the time. Really, it probably only added like an hour to the trip. But, it makes I get more out of it telling a funny story than I would ever, like, day one of a week-long vacation in California, making a big deal
In a
out of
quarter
it.
mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto the Arizona 89A South ramp to Prescott.
Okay. Cottonwood. We should do like a California Love or whatever cover, but do it all podunk ass little towns in fucking Arizona. You'd be like, Cottonwood, show low.
Prescott.
Prescott's a lot better than Payson. I can't fucking stand Payson.
Why are you honking?
Because that guy almost ran the red light. And I just wanted to know I saw.
So
I like to honk too, when it's not me like involved. So say like somebody else is stuck behind somebody else, I'll honk, 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 and they'll think it's like the other person. And I just do stuff like that for fun. I love it.
In half a mile, merge onto Arizona
just instigate a little road rage.
Yeah, right. Before I drive away, because they're not blocking me. It works. It ain't so bad. Yeah, that definitely looks like snowfall. Alright, so hopefully we don't have to deal with too much of that. Yeah, those mountains look pretty peppered too. Salted? Because it's snow? Pretty salted.
Salty ass mountains.
This is salted.
Dusted.
Alright. That sounds like an official term. Snow-kissed? That don't look like a kiss. That looks more like a slobbery makeout. Yeah, we're definitely above the snow line. I can feel it. I'm going to turn the air conditioning down a little bit. So this is Prescott Valley. I told you there ain't shit. We're on like the highest part until we get probably into Prescott proper. And you're lucky if you got a little bush. It's all just like mid-calf high yellow grass. Little tiny bushes.
You know what this is?
Low woodlands? No, high plains.
I'm just gonna say fuel for fire.
It's not too bad. This is something that happens every year. I can't imagine this would be too bad. You're probably right, but this stuff probably doesn't burn too well. It's when you get all the little bushes, like coming up here. It's crazy just looking at the difference now that I think about it. Because we just came from like
2 miles,
Sonoran
take
Desert.
exit 317 for Arizona 89 toward I-40 Prescott.
We just, came from like Sonoran Desert proper, and it's been kind of a wet year. And just coming up here, it was so green, and it was still green, grass and bushes and all that. Where here, where there's literally snow on the ground, there's like nothing. It's like yellow grass, small bushes. It's weird. I figured this would be a lot greener, right? So there'd be a lot more growth here.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lot more rain. I don't know. It's odd.
Maybe it all dies off in the winter because it's too cold.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it definitely gets snowy up here. Ain't nobody arguing with that. Because I guess, I don't know, in the snow season, so when's winter start? Like December? January? December? I think it's December.
I think it starts in January, doesn't
I thought it started right around Christmas. It's January enough. We'll just say January.
it? It's solstice.
Yeah, right around there, right? That's kind of what I thought.
In half a mile, take exit 317 for Arizona 89 toward I-40 Prescott.
Okay. We are in God's country. Seeing big iron crosses next to American flags on the side of the road. It's real God's country. Prescott and Chino Valley.
Take exit 317. In a quarter mile, keep right at the fork. Follow signs for Airport Chino Valley.
Oh, God damn it. That doesn't sound like a proper road.
Oh, that's why airport, Chino Valley.
Keep right at the fork. Continue for half a mile.
God damn it. Oh, I see. It's roundabouts.
Uh-oh.
You don't like those roundabouts? Or are you uh-ohing because it's starting to rain?
tinkling on us.
In a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 North.
I guess we probably should have looked at the weather.
Well, I did look at it earlier in the week. I didn't look at it this morning. Which goes to show, fucking weatherman. They don't know that the weather that's happening that day.
Exit the traffic circle onto State Highway 89 North. Continue on State Highway 89 North for 3/4 of a mile.
Probably another traffic calming or whatever. Hey, check this out, 329. Circle K.
All right.
Fucking lokes. So I leave a lot of reviews when I'm on vacation, just for fun. And I'm always like, oh, it's Dairy Queen, 2.5 stars. Lokes can't park. Lokes can't drive. Literally at the end of like every review.
In a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 North.
Oh shit, we're actually almost there. It's 43 miles to Ashford. So we're probably about 20 miles away from getting off of the highway.
So we want to continue straight, is that it?
Well, you see how there's the 89? So the first right's the airport. The second exit,
Fucking traffic circles.
yeah, they're dumb. I mean, I guess they're supposed to be better than stop signs because supposedly you don't have to stop, but I've been stuck in a fucking behind somebody at a
Exit
traffic
the traffic
circle.
onto State Highway 89
And they're
North.
just like afraid to pop out
Continue
into
on State Highway
traffic.
89 North for 4 miles.
Okay, not quite as far as I thought we would. Are we already about to hop off the freeway?
No. I just want to tell you there's going to be some construction or something going on. I think 3.5 miles. Not construction, maybe like not in progress, but you know how they drive. One of those damn roundabouts,
God damn
I
it.
think.
He's
That's what that
fucking.
icon means.
It probably is something stupid. Is it like 3 arrows making a circle?
No, it's a weird arrow coming off of a circle.
God's country. Look how flat it is. I have the phone angled funny. I'll have to fix it up better next time we do it. What are you pointing at?
Nappy.
Send her back to me.
There you go.
But I have the camera angled funny. So it's zooming in, or it's focusing on the camera stand.
Oh,
So I can't
nice.
flip it around. So I wanted to give some people a shot so that what we're driving into. What is this? Falling from the sky. Oh, I guess they weren't around for that one.
They may have been. We don't know.
It's true.
We don't know.
It's true. So one of the technical difficulties we ran into, besides having to stop in Mayer, Arizona, was my internal storage on my phone was full, and I had been moving everything to the trash can, but apparently I haven't been deleting it. So 50, 60 gigs worth of shit in the trash can only let us record 26 minutes. So I'm not sure exactly where we were.
No, wait till.
Is that a deer?
Yep. There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
It's fine. That's exactly what you're here for. I can't look around. So you come in with all the side views.
So there's a farm where they're growing whitetail, it looks like.
Oh my God. So, one of the years ago, we went up north to play in the
Half a
snow.
mile at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 North.
And we were in Flagstaff. And so we went to the Grand Canyon, Meteor Crater, Montezuma's Castle, you know, all that stuff. We also went by Arizona and the reindeer farm, which is apparently a big thing out there. And so it was raining, much like today. And so we went to this fucking reindeer farm where you get to walk through the paddock with the reindeers in it. And there's maybe 100 of them. And you can feed them and you pet them. And oh, it's great, right? Except apparently reindeer like to roll around in their own shit. And when it's raining, they're just literally covered with wet shit. Literally everything was just covered with wet shit. And so, like, you know how I get, so I grab the girls and we leave. I make them strip in the parking lot because I wouldn't let them get in the car in their shit covered clothes. Oh, it was horrific. I couldn't believe it. It smelled so bad.
Take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 North.
Just thinking about it's making my stomach turn. I did actually get a really nice beanie from there, though. It's real stupid looking, but it's super nice. It's like a dual layer, and one of the layers is like wool or something. So it's like really, really hefty. It's great. It's super comfortable too. But all the rest of it was garbage. The reindeer farm, right outside of Flagstaff. And it seemed like it'd be cool. They had a bunch of animals and all kinds of stuff.
Circle onto State Highway 89 North. Continue on State Highway 89 North for 4 miles.
You think it's another traffic calming? Another traffic circle? We're now in Chino Valley.
Yes, it is.
Which is on one side of Prescott. I guess, so if we would have gone that way, what would that be? West? Northwest? We probably would have gone to Prescott proper. And because we're going straight north towards Ash Fork, we're going into Chino Valley before we get to Ash Fork. So Chino Valley is where, and Prescott Valley, I guess, is the same thing, because I thought we were going to be in Prescott Valley, not Chino Valley. But we're somewhere in that area. And it is on top of a plateau with nothing around. Nothing. Well, I mean, there's some houses right on the side of the road. Some of it's falling apart right on the side of the road. A lot of Graceland buildings up here.
Oh, that's for sale. That falling apart one.
Probably get a good deal on it.
1.65 acres.
Yeah.
Right next to the freeway.
Right next to the freeway, which I necessarily don't have a problem with. The problem I have with it is there's nothing there. Except a dilapidated house. This is where you run into some issues, right? Because if they couldn't sell it, you know, during the Roner, you know, what's wrong with it? I guess probably nobody wants to move to Chino Valley. The problem is it's in Chino Valley.
Did you see that sign?
I didn't.
It said Jesus really big, and then it said, "Coming again soon."
All right. It sounds like a fun show.
It's a musical.
Right? Or some sort of burlesque was my idea. Why is everything burlesque with me? I wonder if that says something. I'm just not aware enough to realize it. Oh, we got a Days Inn. Right next to the trailer park. Metal art. Hardcore. There's no roof on that building. Thumb Butt Medical Center? The fuck?
Cougar country.
I wonder what they do at Thumb Butt.
There was their one bar.
Hey, they got a Scooters. It's apparently some drive-through coffee bar. I'd hit that up on the way back. I don't know. I feel like the ride up was pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Not bad.
Yeah, I was surprised at how quickly we got up here, and how we only had to stop twice on the highway.
Yeah, well, guys, it's different traveling with guys.
Yeah, so we talk about this, and I'm sure this will make me some sort of misogyner or whatever. But if you ever drive with females or kids, or female kids, you're literally stopping once an hour because it inevitably somebody's going to have to go to the bathroom every hour, and it's going to be a different one every time. We actually had a built-in stop because I purposely didn't put a lot of gas in because we were just trying to find cheap gas out of town. So we put 20 bucks in before we left. And so we probably could have gone farther, but I don't like to let it dip too far below a quarter of a tank. So we stopped in Mayer, called Mayer. I got laughed at by some lokes. Oh, hey, there's that burger place we ate at last time. It's closed down now. It's Sunday though. It's God's day.
It's God's country.
It's God's country. Jesus coming again.
Ooh, that chicken's hot.
Yeah, they got a body piercing shop out
Oh,
here.
yeah, the woman who was working at burger place last time we were here was really attractive.
Yeah, very busty. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, because I parked in a stupid spot and blocked the thing. And she was like, you could have pulled forward more or something. She made like a funny comment about it.
Yeah, that's why I told you to park over there.
Yeah, I was like, ah, shit. I guess I could have, huh? Well, we're committed now. I guess you better bring me my burger quick. We don't get very good service. Let's just put it that way. Everywhere I go, everybody hates me.
In a quarter mile at the traffic circle, continue straight to stay on State Highway 89 North.
I'm getting pretty sick of these fucking traffic circles. I'm just gonna say it.
Why don't they just be a fucking real town and put in stoplights?
It's like whoever sells these traffic circles, man, they make a killing in these small towns. Fucking yokes. What does a small town need a monorail for?
Monorail. Traffic circles. Traffic circles.
Right.
We've got traffic circles all over the country.
Yeah,
North
Ogdenville.
Haverbrook.
New mayor. Chino Valley. Hey, they got a green pharmacy.
You know what the great thing is about small towns?
What's that?
Like when I would deliver coffee all over southern Arizona.
Okay.
Every small town has a girl that wants to be rescued from that town. I would guess that this probably has a lot of people that want to be rescued from this shit.
I would imagine you're incorrect.
Hey, piercings girl, get in.
We're going down to the city.
Well, first we're going up to Ashford. Oh, Ashford, no.
She's like, good, I've already got my shit, everything I own on me.
Right? She grabs her backpack. She's good to go.
She's like, I'm not falling for the old Ashford trick again.
That's how I got stuck in Chino Valley. Commercial Way. You know, I don't see very much commercial over there. I'm just going to say it. They got a roofing company. I think I saw a mechanic.
In a quarter mile at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 North.
Thanks.
Thank you. They've got wood.
Okay. All right. That's pretty big wood. All right. I see it. All right. You'd be surprised what you can run off of propane. Unprompted, but we just drove past the propane store. Is why I brought it up.
Another bar.
Exit the traffic circle onto State Highway
That was
89
popping
North.
too.
Yeah.
Especially so
Continue
early on a
State Highway
Sunday.
89 North for 30 miles.
All the degenerates go to Lucy's.
Oh no! Oh no! We're getting stuck behind some California. Go back to California, because there's some loke trying to make a left from the middle of the fucking road. And of course, California's gonna be a bitch. Go around.
Yeah.
Go around.
Passing
Oh,
over.
they're Jehovah's Witnesses. God damn it!
Like, I don't like it any more than you do.
Tell it to every birthday you've never had. I never got it when I was a kid, but my grandma's house, they literally had a sign on the front gate that said no Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's like, what does that mean? What the hell is a Jehovah's Witness? I don't know. Some sort of offshoot of the Seventh-day Evangelists or something, right? They're the ones that are trying to facilitate the rapture, if I remember correctly. And you're not allowed to have a birthday? I don't
I
know.
thought they were just Mormons.
I know they can't have.
Are they
pictures.
Mormon?
Yeah, I thought so.
I think they did, right?
Why don't they just call them Mormons?
Well, I mean, I could be fucking wrong.
I have no
But-
idea. I'd like to think in my head, in my mind.
Black cat.
Yeah, so I guess black cats aren't that one. But I like to think in my mind that, they're actively rooting for the apocalypse or whatever. They're the kind of religious people that, like, stock up on food and stuff so that when the rapture happens, they're, like, well supplied for the aftermath. It's like, well, but does that mean you're not going to heaven? You're planning on not going to heaven when the rapture happens?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Right. I mean, if I was going to be part of some made-up group, I'd at least be the part that goes to heaven.
Yeah, at least be popular.
Right. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me.
So I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about these BP drinks that
Oh, you want to preview
they're
some?
gonna create.
You want to? So I've been tinkering around with some fresh new ideas, and I got a couple going here. I'll give one away because the other one I want to save. It's going to be a secret. But this one we're calling the Grape 8, okay? And we're doing, we're going to say roughly 8 ounces of grape juice, 2 shots, 99 bananas, 1 shot rum. We're using Malibu because it's like a coconut rum, so we'll say flavored rum, and one of those bar cherries on top, just for fun. Maraschino cherry on top, just for fun. And we're calling it the Grape 8. And I want to say this, and I can't stress it enough, but you got to use the Kroger brand grape juice. The generic Kroger brand Concord grape, like grape juice, right?
My mouth is puckering thinking about it.
It is intense. Like you drink tequila, right? So you take a shot of the grape juice and then you use the tequila to like take the edge off. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. You're like, no, what? Purple stuff, Kroger grape juice. Try it. You can say whatever you want. Try it first, and then try to question me. I swear to God, it'll blow your goddamn mind. I can't even drink it. Like half a cup, I'll fill the whole thing up with ice, and then fill it up like 3/4 of the way, maybe. Because man, it's got
melt for a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's got some kick. It's got some bite.
It's stout.
It's stout.
Look at this jackass.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, I wish I would have set the camera up better.
Fuck me, Jesus.
Yep, and you see him with his little fucking toy hauler in his stupid truck that he can't even fucking do it. I'm literally going to say 20 cars piled up behind him. At least.
Yeah.
I will say 20 cars. That's pretty fair. Just a solid line. Because we're on one of those one lane either way, and you get stuck behind one of those idiots, and you
So, what I used to do is when I drove my F650, which was massive and giant, I would travel a lot of these roads, and when somebody would come up behind me, I would actually drive over on the shoulder so they could see around me and see what was coming,
Oh,
and
okay.
ask me if they wanted to.
What a good
Because
idea.
I'm not an inconsiderate asshole.
And that's how I feel it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, I don't feel like it's them being spiteful. I feel like it's them just being inconsiderate. Like to them, they're just like, oh, I'm driving. Oh, look at my big truck. I got my little fifth wheel that you can't even fucking haul.
But they don't have any concern about the people behind them. They just don't care.
That dude, Jesus.
Yeah. So that guy, he had a giant fifth wheel, and he was towing a Jeep or something behind him. Oh my God! It's like a George Carlin sketch.
I think so. You don't need a special license to drive fifth wheels or motorhomes under a certain length, right?
Yeah, probably. It's probably a lot like the big box truck thing.
Everyone
You
should
get
have
up to
to
a
go-
certain.
Everyone should have to go to school, driving school, to drive one of those vehicles.
All right, that's fair. I think driving school should be a little more involved than it actually is.
Like, if you want a motorcycle license, you have to go to the DMV and prove you can get a motorcycle license.
That's great.
You should prove that you can drive an RV.
Yes, I would say that's 100% fair. But I've already found out the reason why it's not like that. It's because of companies like U-Haul, you know, or Enterprise, companies that rent vehicles. They want as many people to be able to do it. And they want those people to smash up the trucks because they actually get double paid for it. Because they're going to charge the people for it and they're going to charge the insurance company for it. So, like, you got one of those big box trucks that you rent out, the best thing that can happen is it gets fucked up because you get a brand new one out of the deal. You know what I'm saying? So I bet you they don't even have a very good lobby. But it's just good enough that they got all these stupid laws passed, you know? Because I was talking to a guy who was a hauler. And so he had a big truck and a giant trailer. It was as big as it could legally be. And it was almost as big as a semi, like a loaded up semi. And he said he's on the smallest end, right under the limit of everything, so he doesn't have to get a CDL. And he just does like, we were talking about this one day, where, you know, like, if you need something hauled, but you don't want to get a semi, right? So you like rent a guy in a truck to do it for you. And that's what he does. But he stays in hotels with semi parking, you know, like that. He basically, when he goes to rest stops, he parks in the semi spot, which I'm sure all the semi truck drivers love. And that's what he does. He just hauls shit around. And he said it's great, you know, makes good money, but he doesn't have to do any of the things that CDL drivers have to do.
Like driver's logs.
Driver's logs.
But see, that's dangerous because that means he doesn't have to abide by that 14-hour driving limit.
It's true. You can get pretty far in 14 hours, though. And his thing is probably like one thing to one place, you know, because you need a specialized part for, I think he said he was hauling something for a power plant or something. It was like one big thing that they needed like this specialty part for. And so he picks this one thing up and they load it on the truck for him. And then he drives it cross country, you know, because they make these things out in Virginia or whatever. Virginia. And then boom, drops it off up at Palo? What's it called? Palo Verde?
Palo Verde, the nuclear power plant?
There you go. And so there you go. And he said he makes a killing doing it. I was actually quite tempted. I thought it might be a fun way to see the world. Take Stephanie after I retire and buy a big ass truck and trailer and then just do that. You know, so it's kind of like a working vacation.
Yeah, you want to check your navigation?
Yeah. I think we're getting pretty close. I said first.
21 miles.
Maybe not as close as you thought. But we are getting into that country. So we're in like juniper country. Right? These are all juniper. I would call them bushes because they're probably not 8 feet tall.
Juniper bushes.
But yeah, once we go up about another 1,000 feet, I bet in elevation, they'll become proper trees.
Yeah, this is like transition.
Yeah, they have a term for it. So that was high plains. This is probably low. This is probably still high plains. We have just entered the Prescott National Forest. So it's right by the Prescott National Forest. One of the things that drew us to this is there's a lot of BLM land there. And since we're staunch supporters of the Black Lives Matter movement, we thought. So it's great because there'll be a lot of, at least for the time being, undeveloped land. And, you know, you always want to have this giant 40 acres right across from BLM land, because if you decide to develop yours, you'll still have, you know, millions of acres of pristine, unspoiled land, managed land, I guess, right next to it. Which is kind of what drew us to this area. It's like a patchwork of BLM land.
There's some good sized trees.
Yeah, we're actually, now that we're kind of at the top of the plateau, we're coming into actual trees. They're juniper trees for sure. These are the taller trees we were just talking about. I can see where we're going though, because we plateaued, and then we're actually coming up in about 22 miles on the next mountain. And so it's probably going to be like in the valley.
Do you see the snow?
Yeah, I don't see much.
Fog.
Yes, okay, then I do see it. Those could just be clouds.
It could be.
Because we're reaching, that's probably 7,000 elevation.
Yeah.
So that could just be where the clouds are right now. It could be snow though, Because like I said, it's not like I fucking know. I didn't recognize water falling from the sky.
That looks like fucking snow.
What do you think that is? So we're seeing what looks like some sort of alien city. Size beyond comprehension. It's like some sort of cement factory? What the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, there's a cement factory.
Called it. It's huge. That's bigger than the last town we were in. Alright.
Oh, you're supposed to be running your daylight, your lights.
I think my lights are on. My running lights? I think the boy racer's got running lights always running.
Alright.
But if not,
These trees I don't
running lights. There you go.
mind. These are nice.
Yeah, this is basically this maybe, and then put in some pines. Like that looks like a pine, maybe. No, that's more juniper.
Dwarf pine.
Yeah, dwarf pine. It's a type of pine, and it just means I think they only grow 20 or 30 feet. We saw some. What was that one? That really bushy one. Remember? It only grows about 30 feet, but it was about 30 feet wide too. It looked like a giant Christmas tree. We were looking up some different kinds of trees that would grow in the area. There's definitely snow on the ground. And so that if, say, for example, we did buy this land, we could plant a bunch of our own trees up there. Because it turns out when we were looking at the topography for the area, there's a lot of different growth zones. So, like, this is a 6A, 6B, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So, in between a lot of these areas that would support stuff that doesn't grow there are zones that wouldn't support it. So, there'll be all these really nice grow zones separated by huge stretches of zones that don't grow much.
Jesus, that thing is massive.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy, the scale of it. It's incomprehensible.
And they're still building it. It looked like there was a crane.
I don't know. It's big. He's big. It looks like the kind of thing they move the fucking shuttle around with or something. It's huge. Speaking of some nuclear painter plant, god damn. That crane might just be for loading and unloading stuff.
Yeah, could be.
I don't know. They probably wouldn't let us on either. Be like, we're making an on the road with BP. Can we come and check your shit out?
Be like,
Well, let's call the police real quick. Nuclear painter plant? What the fuck? We got some hippies here and they're hot. Hell
Canyon.
All right. We're coming
That's
up on
kinda cool.
it. Looks pretty deep.
That's pretty cool.
That looks like proper trees down there. So at the very least, even if we don't do any recording on the way back, I'll try to get some like B shots or something. So maybe we can cut in some scenery from the way back, just so people know, the kind of stuff we were talking about. Yeah, some B shots or B footage, whatever they call it, B-roll. Like I said, I had to empty out my phone, the memory bank. There you go. Drake Cement. So it's the Drake Cement plant. Tell you, I can spot a cement plant from a mile away.
It's a weird flex, but
I think I actually knew what it was. I've been up here a few times. It's probably just buried in my brain somewhere. That looks pretty wooded. And you see how half of them don't have leaves? Those are probably different trees that grow leaves, you would hope.
Yeah.
See, this would be a good one to show some shots of. I just only have it set up from this side.
Yep.
Because then you can really see what kind of trees and stuff are
turn on
doing.
headlights.
Okay. On you, sir. Nuclear painter plant. see some of the little dwarf pines too. Look at how big that one is.
Yeah, some big ass trees.
Yep. All right. Because we want to use this for a lot of things. This land, growing cows with a friend of ours, right? We want to put structure on it. Obviously, a cabin in the woods to come and visit. Camping. We're big on camping. I mean, right now we only do it once or twice a year. But I mean, if we own some property up north, I mean, realistically, we'd be up here at least once a month on average. Because there's probably a couple of months in the snowier time where you wouldn't want to come up. But, you know, every 3 weeks, let's say, we'd probably be up here when the temperature was good. I got a couple of kids that I'm sure would love to fuck around on 40 private acres. I can tell you right now, I would have as a child. I kind of grew some city kids, though. So, we'll see. I did give Jackie a special knife for her to play with whenever we go camping. I get a piece of rope and I tie it. I run her sheath through it, so she has her own special knife that she gets to play with when we go camping.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. She likes it. It's just like a pressed steel knife, but you know, it's pretty solid. If she gets attacked by a coyote or something, hopefully she can fight it off. We were up on the rim, the Mogollon Rim, and we were playing around in the snow one year, and we walked down, we parked and walked maybe a mile out to the cliff's edge, the edge of the rim, and back. And while we were walking back, there was actually paw prints that weren't there on the way out, because they crossed over our tracks, and I didn't see them. So I'm assuming they came behind us. So it couldn't have been maybe 20 minutes, because we just walked out there, stood out there for like 5 minutes, and walked back.
Or it was stalking you.
Yeah, it kind of crossed it. They didn't follow us really, unless they were following beside us. But I don't know. I didn't see or hear anything. But I guess that's part of it, right?
I told you about my dad and my uncle, right? Now, they were walking in a wooded area, and they heard something, so they stopped. They couldn't hear the sound anymore, so they started walking. Then they heard something again, so they stopped. And finally, the third time, like, they stopped walking, and they heard something like a branch break or a twig or like leaves rustling.
Yeah, something
and
shifting.
So they look over, and there was a bobcat that was walking beside them, just staring at them like 30 yards away. And there's a bobcat, not even a mountain lion.
Road's wet, so that means we just missed the rain. There's still snow on the ground as well. Cows!
Nice.
We're in cow country now. So we just reached the top of the mountain where we saw all the rain and stuff before. So fortunately for us, it looks like it's moved on just a little bit. We're now in the Kebab? Kebab?
Close enough.
They got some moving water down there, right? So, and there's some, that looks like hail. Looks like it was just hailing up here. Okay. All right. There's actually, you know, you drive around in the country a lot, right? And it says watch for rocks. And you laugh because you're like, I've never seen a fucking rock. But now we're driving by the side of the road, there's a bunch of rocks all on the side of the fucking road. It's like, holy shit, what did we just miss? I bet it was some idiot fucking took the turn too wide and hit the embankment.
Do we need to edit the amount of fucks that we say?
What?
I don't know.
As long as you, well, there's two things. One's monetized and one's not. And then even when it's monetized, I think you have to go first 10 minutes or something. But I've only been monetized briefly, and right after I got monetized, they literally changed the rules like that day. So they monetized me, they made me open up this account that they would put the money into, and they did all this. And then like later that day, they were like, oh, well, we've changed it for people like you. So you're no longer monetized.
It's the country that we're going to be in, Jake.
That is the country that we're going to be in. So we're, give us a BTA for the turnoff, dude.
7 miles.
All right, so we're literally in the valley we're going to be in. We're looking at junipers that are probably 15, 20 feet tall. We're looking at actual private property, and that's probably why it's so. Along the road, there's a lot of trees, but inland, there's big flat spots. But I think that was actually by design, because we're in like grazing country. So I bet there's a lot of open spaces for cows. But you can see the hills behind it, and they're wooded. I would definitely say wooded. There's more trees than not. What did it say? It was 40% woods?
Oh, no, it was
16% woods. So that means 16% of the property is trees. One of the nice things about the one we're looking at is we'll say the bottom 1/3 from about 6 to 3 on a clock, if you were looking at the square, right? The bottom 1/3 of it, there's a road that runs through it. It's the access. It's called Arizona Road or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the road that gets you in and out of the property. And so while it does run right through the middle of the property, roughly, we'll just call it the middle, it's easier that way. I actually really prefer that. So there is a setback of something like 50 feet or 50 yards from that road, but it's basically in a valley. And so the property that we're looking at is a valley on both sides of the road. One side has like a divot down that is like where it's like a wash and a big flat area, and then it goes up a couple hundred feet into a plateau, and then on the other side it's kind of the same thing, except it just goes up about 200 feet into another plateau, and then we get so much onto that other plateau that it actually dips down on the side. I didn't want to gun it too hard, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, it is nice. He's pulling a Leon, we call it. So some nice yokel actually just pulled off onto the shoulder so we could get around him. We're already kind of on an incline, and I'm pushing about 2.5 or 2,500 RPM. So when I give it a little bit more gas, we're actually shifting up a gear, and it's popping up over into the 4,000, and I don't like that. So I keep backing off instead of like going up and around like I normally would. I don't know. I just don't like to push it. Even on a rental car.
So it's going to be weird because we have to get off on the left side of the road.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll go down past and flip a bitch or something.
That might be a good idea.
But we'll see what we're coming up to. There may be a little turnoff in the middle. So we're 7 miles from Ash Fork. Should we just go straight to Ash Fork and then come back at it from the other side?
Well, I don't know.
How close are we to turning?
3.3 miles.
All right, so we're actually right outside. So we'll keep this up. We'll see what it's like when we get there. There's only one person behind us. And if traffic's clear on the other way, I'll signal for a really long time before we get there and pump the brakes a little bit.
Or just get off to the right.
Or, yeah, exactly. That's probably an even better idea. Because there's, like I said, there's one person behind us for at least a mile or two. So maybe we'll just do something like that. Pull over, let them get by, and then we'll make that turn when there's nobody behind us. We might even see about another way to come up, because I have a feeling when we come up, there's really no place to stop. Oh, I guess we did pass that one Walmart in whatever shitty town that was. But is that where you're going to want to stop to get supplies? We'll probably supply it before we go.
It's probably the best place to get supplies.
That Walmart?
Yeah, I mean, or you can go to the Dollar Tree. But
Well, that's the thing, because, you know, like, usually, let's say we're prepping for a camping trip, right? We would go in town, the city, and we would stop at the Fry's or whatever, and we'd load up mostly on alcohol and ice. And then we would drive up to the Rim, which is right outside of Payson. We would stop in Payson and go grocery shopping for the trip. And then from Payson, we would usually stop and get food, because you have to eat before you go camping. Because as soon as we stop, we start drinking. And we've had many horrible nights because we started drinking before we ate, and then we got so drunk we didn't eat, and then you know what it's like drinking on empty stomach.
yeah, you should get reset. Yeah.
Because it looks like there's a turnoff lane coming up.
I think that's probably going to be it.
I'd like to think Google would have said something before now.
No.
Does it say it's less than a mile?
Yeah.
Public
All right.
road.
Yeah, so that looks like it right there. So fortunately for us, it looks like we get turnoff.
In half a mile, turn left onto Bullet Road.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's an actual turn lane. I guess I should say
a little
from
bit
the middle.
worried that we would be trying to cross a busy freeway or highway.
Well, busy might be loose. Highway might be loose.
I was
but-
being generous.
Yeah. Is your phone?
Turn left onto Bullet Road.
Boy Racer wants to run.
Boy Racer wants to run. Okay,
Continue on Bullock Road for 4 miles.
so we've now officially turned off of the highway. There's actually some traffic up here. I see a couple of cars. Yeah. What was that called? Juniper Ranch?
Juniperwood Ranch.
Juniper Wood Ranch. Landowners Association. So this is probably what we'll have to look up.
No. This isn't us.
So we're past this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're literally like 40 minutes.
This is what we would have been if we got the baseball diamond, the first property we looked at.
That one was nice. Not as wooded probably as we would have liked, but it was a good spot. At least we knew we could get there by car.
Yeah.
It was also really close to the highway. While you had to get off the highway and drive for a few miles to get there, as the crow flies, it was only a few thousand feet from the actual highway. So no matter where you were on that property, you could always hear the highway traffic. So, I mean, just like anything, there's going to be pluses and minuses. But it had a lot of pluses.
Look at all that firewood.
Yeah, so as we're coming up here, this is the same way it was last time. They tore down a bunch of trees and shit to make the road, and they just piled it on the side of the road.
Before they got burned.
No, those look like they just cut them down. I can see the cut marks on them. And so, well, maybe. But it seems like all of it would have got burnt. It could be fire mitigation. But like I said, I think it's probably leftover from when they built the road. Because we saw a lot of this. The road we were on for the last place was relatively new because it had some torn down trees that were still pretty green. That would be a good way to put it.
What is that? Railroad track?
Yeah, railroad track.
Okay.
There's actually a railroad that runs not through it, but relatively close to it. I was hoping you might be able to drive next to or on the tracks a bit. All right, we're about to hit the end of pavement. Okay, so here we go. Now here's where things are going to get interesting. So we're crossing dirt, railroad tracks.
Bunch of cars.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff parked out here, which is actually kind of cool.
Church.
There's a church, but it seems like you'd park in the church. Okay, so just follow this road, it says. So we just stopped to take a look around real briefly. There's a lot of Mondays on that sign there. All right, so the road is actually, and we're just starting on it, is in a lot better shape than I thought it would be. So you're probably going to get a lot of vibration. We might actually stop the camera for this part because I can see it shaking quite a bit.
Drive on the ruts, Jake.
I'm driving in the ruts. I'm driving, look, right in between the two. You mean like all off to one side?
Probably be less ruts.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
So I think they actually do this thing on purpose. What's it called? Washboarding or something like that? The road, I think it helps with water runoff. And it stops people from going really fast. Yeah, so I'm going to stop the camera. It's actually falling out of the base. Yeah, we just take the 89 or the 69 back to...
So 89 to 69?
No. Yeah, the 89 to the 69. That's exactly correct.
All right. Are we back?
And we're back. All right, people. There on the internet. Internets is...
Hello, internet people.
Hello, internet people.
There we go.
So we just left the beautiful town of Ash Fork, after another technical issue, which we seem to be running into a lot of on this trip.
Yeah.
We won't go into too much detail. Needless to say, there was some traffic snafu, but we're out of Ashford, and we weren't caught. So here we are, back on the lonely, forlorn road back to Phoenix. And so we had some thoughts on the property, some concerns, and some things we're just going to kind of lay out, I guess. We'll start with the ride in. So it was about 12 miles off of the highway, most of which was dirt roads, probably 11 miles. Was that?
Yep.
Well, fortunately, we have just enough.
Well, this is why we should be looking at something to see how to get back.
Oh yeah, I'll pull it on a map.
But probably 11 miles of it are unpaved, and then I'd say probably about 1 mile of that is almost impassable in a car, mostly right at the end too. So we went up for the very worst time of year. We're in late February, early March, I guess, which is the thaw time up there. So there was a lot of snow on the ground. It rained, possibly hailed before we got up there. We talked about it on the way up. It being the storms we could see, the rain in the mountains. It was rain or hail or snow, probably hail or rain. And everything's wet. It was muddy once we got up there. Like I said, yeah, the first 10 miles, not a problem. Last mile, you run into some serious mud, for one thing, but pretty rough roads. Like I said, at least 2,000 feet or so are impassable by car. So we're thinking, this is the concern. This is where the concern comes in. Because once we got up to the property, it was quite a sight. It's everything we were hoping for. I mean, the road's a little rough to get in, but it's a valley with a big floodplain kind of thing on the bottom, and then up one side of the valley is already a road or trail or whatever you want to call it up there to a kind of a big flat area where you couldn't go like super huge. You're not putting a 5,000 square foot structure up there, but I mean, you could get 2-bedroom cabin, 2 bedrooms up there, a couple of shipping containers. I bet you could probably do a 1,000 square foot place, no problem. So the top of the hill is pretty nice, pretty easy to get to too. Once you're on the property, let me stress that point a little bit, because there, like I said, is already a pre-existing road that goes right up to it. I'll put some pictures of this up too, because I did take pictures from the top where we were talking about. Video we took at the bottom. And so there's a big, at the bottom, I told you at the bottom, 1/3 of it or so, the road runs right through the middle of it. Bottom 1/3 of it. And so on one side is like a dug-in wash where the water flows. And then past that is like a gentle slope that's like a big flat area. And you could see just a few feet above the flood line, above the flow line, whatever it is, nice flat spaces for camping or for dropping a little trailer on, a couple of bedroom cabin, maybe putting up some fence. There's a lot of cow droppings there, cows being part of what this was or wanted to be. So it's beautiful land. It's just getting out there, especially in a car, is going to be a bit dicey. So we went up now, the melt time, because this was the hardest time to get up there, in theory, as long as it's not actively raining or in the middle of a snowstorm or something, because the roads are specifically so muddy. And so, like I said, out of the probable 12-mile journey off of the highway to get there, only a couple thousand feet would actually give trouble to a car. Maybe 1 mile is kind of dicey, but only a couple thousand feet aren't passable. So that's where we were also talking about some possible options as far as maybe bringing a company in to grade it. We would definitely grade a lot of it ourselves. There's only a couple of big spots. I'd say roughly about a 1,000 foot stretch that is pretty dicey.
You'll be coming up on Fane Road.
Okay.
You don't want to take that.
Exit on Fame.
Yeah.
My phone is out of power.
There you go. So that's that's the big concern right there. We'd have to see what we could do ourselves with just rakes and shovels. Leon was saying we'd pull a lot of the scree or whatever off the side of the road to fill it. Use the rake and the shovels to kind of level everything out. We were looking at some like drag chain style graders that you would like hook up to the back of the truck and drag to help, smooth things over, fill in holes and things like that. There's really no way for us to haul things in there efficiently. The truck doesn't have too much capacity. So, short of paying a company to do it. We did see some options though. I wonder if we talked to somebody out there, if we could have them come in as far as they would go and drop a giant pile. Drop a giant pile of, like rocks as far as the truck will go. So we're talking about bringing in a big ass truck, right? And so maybe they drive the first 10 miles, drop a giant load of rock, and then we just keep driving back and forth from where we're leveling it in or whatever, fill up the back of the truck, drive up there, rent a little trailer, because we could probably pull a little trailer through there.
Yeah.
Hook the what have you to the back of the trailer, the grader, if that's what we're calling it. Price is right.
I think it would work pretty well.
How much, realistically, how many trips do you think it would take out there before we could get a car up? Doing the work ourselves.
It depends how long is a piece of string.
Well, it depends on how big the string is.
Yeah. It depends on what we're doing. If we're hauling a bunch of rock and filling stuff in.
Well, I liked your idea of using what was on the side of the road, or what was already up there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which is totally doable. And to do that, we would literally get a
couple of pickaxes, a couple of shovels, and a rake.
Well, I was thinking a 2x4 frame that we make that's like square.
Okay.
With some wire mesh on
A scree?
A scree. And that way we're getting rid of all the
dirt. We're just putting
just those small rocks.
Okay, so you're saying make some sort of strainer or something before we go. It seems like a needless step, personally. Couldn't we just grade it a couple times? Just shovel all the shit off the side. Then all the dirt will go away and then do it again. Yeah. And then the dirt will kind of fill in the cracks, hopefully. Come on, Idaho. Here's one of your slow traffic. Keep right. Stephanie's car has a fancy racing front on it.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's like a low profile racing front. That might be a little rough getting it in and out of there. Yeah. But that's just the problem though. Because, if it's me and Stephanie and the boy and Jackie, that's the whole truck full.
Yep.
So then you need to be able to get somebody else in there. And Gary's car could make it, but I guess Sam drives a big Jeep. Hers could make it in there. Look at these people. Look at these people. Slow traffic is not keeping right. And we got some sort of Mexican roadblock going on here, where the car next to us isn't slowing down or speeding up enough for us to get around them. To give them a little bit of the light action. Hoping it'll get their attention, but they're from California, so we're going to say they won't have the self-awareness enough to. There he goes, he got it. probably helps that we're completely covered in mud. I'll probably take some shots of it once we get home. The truck itself, so you can see what we're dealing with. Because there was a lot of mud. It was muddy. And that's the thing, this time of year. We made it. There was a couple of dicey spots.
A lot of dicey spots.
There was a couple of dicey spots. There was some rough, some slippery road.
Your truck was literally like sliding.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, you know, I would call it drifting. But sliding, there was some spots. There was definitely some traction loss. You got to hit everything at speed by design. Trucks just made it work that way. Then if you stop, you get stuck. We did actually stop, what, 2 times, 3 times? And scout the road ahead. Because I found a couple of nice high dry spots. So we would stop there, walk up the road a little bit in some of the dicier spots. And that's what I'm saying. You couldn't get a car up there now. We're actually going to plan on going in about a month back. Once the melt season's over and it's a little warmer and drier, to see not only one, what kind of traffic it gets, because once we hit a certain point, there was no tracks. You know what I'm saying? It was us. I think once we got pretty deep in the road down at the bottom, there was some ATV tracks because they're really thin. But I only saw that, like I said, once we got kind of the bottom of the valley. So most of the road, once we got to a certain point, there wasn't even tire tracks on it. So it was literally just us. So I'm curious to see how much traffic it gets over a month's time, over a rough month, because, you know, it's not going to dry out anytime soon. So we'll see. We'll see. That's basically our plan right now. Is we're going to get some quotes on some grading, and we're going to come back in a month and see what it looks like under better conditions. Because I can't stress enough. Like, we were driving over snow, we were driving through inches of mud. A car wouldn't have made that, not by a long shot.
Low clearance one especially.
A low clearance one especially. So Stephanie's car is not really that low clearance, but that front fender, because it's got that carbon fiber racing front, whatever, it's actually got a low skirt on the front. Bumblebee!
Yeah, it's not super.
So one of those new bright yellow Camaros just flew by us. I actually got out of his way, right, because he was driving so much faster than me. So I pulled off to the right to let him go around me, because I'm just that kind of guy.
What a gentleman.
And a scholar.
And this stupid truck driver.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to Phoenix.
Yeah,
So this is us. We want to get behind him, of course. Oh, but fortunately for us, we can go around him. Maybe for you. Here we go.
Where was that spot that we went through, that weird part of town?
We know to take the 89 to the 69.
Yeah, we
directly.
didn't follow Google.
Yeah.
We took the actual freeways. Remember, like I said, if we would have gone up 2 exits, we could have just taken the freeway over. But it kicked us off through that shitty little town.
No, actually, this is one is funny here. It's actually, it makes you drive past 69 into a town and through it, and then onto the 89.
Come on. What the fuck? I'm telling you, somebody's got to be paying Google for that. It's a feature, you know. Oh, your shitty little town's dying because it's useless and nobody wants to go there. Well, you know, for enough money, we could help.
I didn't notice his license plate actually says Bumblebee.
It says what?
Bumblebee?
Stupid.
Oh, it's like the Transformer. I like it.
It's like the Transformer. Bumblebee!
Yeah, but those cars suck.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Camaros. I'll give you that.
I just like the Transformers color scheme, to be honest.
Black and yellow. Which I think that one's just yellow. Bumblebee!
Alright, you're riding this train till you get to 17.
We're on the 17, I thought.
Nope.
Nope.
We're on 69 still.
Oh, okay. We just... The 69 just took a left back there onto the 17.
That's exactly correct.
All right. Ball, baby. Oh, there goes another one.
Another what?
Of those yellow Camaros.
They're super popular out here. The salesman does some fantastic.
No, it's because the people that get Dodges, they're usually like military for some reason, and they love their Darts and Dodges.
Those Dodge Chargers.
Yeah.
Those are like the police cars.
Chargers, Challengers, Darts.
The Charts.
It's
like the Fiesta. Fucking.
It's like if you're ex-military, you're obligated to buy one.
Oh, you think they get a military discount?
That would be pretty good. And apparently it's working very well.
You probably get an extra discount if you buy a yellow one. So I found out Teslas, right? They only come in white, and then you have to pay extra if you want it in a different color.
Really?
Isn't that funny?
This line of fucking cars, where's all this coming from?
The city. What do you think, Leon? What are your 2 cents on it?
What?
So what are your 2 cents on it?
On the property?
Yeah.
I liked it. It was neat. There was a lot of tall trees, which I enjoy.
Yeah, a lot of tall juniper and dwarf pines. We found a little cope of pines up there. We could grow our own. We could transplant them. We could cut down everything we don't like. What were those bushes you kept saying were oak bushes?
Yeah, it was oak.
I don't know. That doesn't seem right. I didn't know oaks bushed, but
It was gross, scrubby looking oak.
I thought it looked more like mistletoe or something.
That was prickly. It was kind of thorny. I didn't realize that.
So I don't think it's oak. I don't know much about trees. I'm not some sort of tree doctor, but I'm not some sort of arboretum. But I don't think those are oak trees. I'm just gonna say it. But I don't know enough about trees to actually make that call. So we could be right.
I don't know. I liked it.
What do you think about getting your car in there?
No. As is, I can act my car. I know, I pretty much know the capabilities of my vehicle. I do not think I can get it in there. I think I'd high center it on something.
Yeah. Nobody's arguing it would take a lot of work to get a car in there. If you could ever get it in that state, it'd be great. It looked like they were doing a lot of work out there. Specifically work to make like roads. It looked like a lot of the road out there was freshly dug. Some of it looked really fresh, like it was still wet. You know, like it had been dug within days. I wonder if they do a lot of digging this time of year because the ground's so wet. Maybe it's easy to level or something. It would be a lot of work. I'm curious to see what we can do. I think if it wasn't wet too, it would be hard to get a car in. No argument about that.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't wet, I think you would be allowed a lot more freedom. Because the problem we were having was we kept getting pushed into the ruts and stuff like that. And we could only find traction where water was flowing. Because there was basically no mud in the divots. So I think if it wasn't muddy, you could probably get a car in a lot farther. There's a lot of snow too. Probably should have taken a picture of some of the roads. I didn't even think about it.
Take what?
Pictures of some of the roads on the way in. That really bad one, for example. Yeah.
No one else has a truck.
Exactly. You know, Lloyd, he's got his girl's Jeep. David's got that Subaru. I don't think the Subaru would make it in the way the roads are now. He has taken it down to what's that called? Christopher Creek? Where did we go shooting? Sycamore Creek. He has taken it down into Sycamore Creek, all the way to the bottom, to the actual creek, which is rough. There was nothing we just went over that's that rough. So I bet he probably could get his car up there. He drives one of those like all-wheel drive Subarus. I'm not sure the difference between all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. It was rough. It was rough. Got some cool rocks though. Jackie's gonna like that. It was surprisingly woody. And again, we'll show a lot of pictures of this because we went to a couple of the choicier spots and did like some 360 pictures and a 360 video basically. We got some pictures of Leon next to some trees, give you some scale because we're talking 30 feet easy.
Yeah,
so there was
tall trees.
Yeah, there was proper trees out there. A lot of cool looking wood. A lot of cactus, a lot more than I'd like. There's probably a lot we couldn't see because of the snow.
There's actually a lot of agave up there too.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the agave, but I definitely have a problem with all that cactus.
Well, the agave are short and spiky and hurt a kid too.
Yeah, but not like a cactus. There's probably as many thorns on an agave plant as like one section of cactus, you know, like one pad of cactus. Cactus are rough. Cactus, all that cactus would have to go. As much of it as we could dig up. Dig it up, bury it, put it in a big hole and burn it. I don't care. That would be a big thing. So you couldn't have kids playing around with that shit. Last thing you need is somebody to fall into it. And you're an hour plus at the closest place. Lot to think about. One of the problems is within our price range and the distance we actually want to travel, there's not a lot of properties that meet our criteria. You know, accessible by car, affordable, forested, trees, treated, well treated, treater. Roads. There's just not a lot of stuff. We've only ever really even seen a couple properties that would actually be viable. This being one of them. The only reason it would be viable, the only way it would be viable, is to get that work done. You definitely aren't getting any sort of equipment in there. You know, the way the roads are now, you're not going to get a big truck in there to, you know, like a backhoe or some sort of excavator. You're not going to be able to get them to do a septic tank or pour slab the way it is now. But realistically, like I said, it's only the very end of the run, the last mile, and even then it's only a couple spots, a few spots. Most of it we could easily do by ourselves. I bet just the three of us, maybe one other guy, if we went out there for the weekend, we could definitely, you know, do a portion of it, 20%. You know, not the big stuff, but like all the other stuff. We could do it really quick. If we got a couple of, you know, car loads, if Gary could get his car up there, and then, you know, we had 6 or 7 people, I bet we could get, let's say we need 2,000 feet, right? Actually graded, like properly graded to get a car in there. Plus a little bit extra we would have to do ourselves. We'll call it another 500 feet that we could easily do ourselves. We could probably do that 2,000 feet too, but it would take us forever. But I mean, realistically, a couple of cars full of guys and a weekend, we could probably get 400 or 500 feet of that done up. Especially if we did some of like either a little bit of the hardest stuff, or more likely would be a lot of the easy stuff. Because if we could get a lot of the easy stuff done ourselves, when you get a company in to grade that extra 1,000 or 2,000 feet that are really rough, all the easy stuff will be done. They'll come in and do the last of it, you know, hopefully at a very reasonable price. And boom, there you go. It is doable with, I think, a minimal monetary investment, right? At least a couple grand to have a company come in. I mean, I guess, I don't know. We need to really get some quotes on it. But that would be a must. You're going to have to get it graded. And a lot of it we're going to have to do ourselves. But I think there's going to be points, there's that 1,000-foot section that is definitely going to need to be done by a company. Hey Gilligan's, we're back at the cheap gas. Where are we at? We gotta stop. I think we can make it home. We're only like 60 miles away. Oh, somebody shoot Louise a text. Tell her we're like an hour and a half away.
I'll send
Okay.
a message. Hey, on Google Maps, Jake,
Yeah,
your house has me and Dan in the picture.
I saw that. The garage door's open and you guys are playing on the computers.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Alright, I'm going to send your friend Louise a message.
Yeah. Tell them 90 minutes. It's probably a little over an hour. I thought we'd get home right around 6. We started a little late, about an hour later than we really should have. Or wanted to, I guess, but babysitter was late, and then we got kind of a late start after that, but not too bad. We'll be home maybe 6:30. So 10 to 6:30. It's a good 8 hours. We spent a lot more time up there than I thought we would. It was a trip.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Like I said, there's definitely a couple of iffy moments. You know, we brought shovels and wood with us in case we needed to dig it out or put some stuff in the ruts, but we didn't need to do any of that. But there was definitely a couple of iffy ass moments coming through there for sure. For sure. Iffy as shit.
Sure.
Yeah. Crazy with it.
But,
A lot of it was the time of year.
yeah.
Because I'm not kidding. Once we got to the site, the property, there was snow probably 6 inches deep in places. You know? So, I mean, it's that kind of place. And all the parts that were giving us trouble, the muddy parts, was snow. It was the snow melt that was giving us the trouble. And so that's why I want to say, well, let's come back in a month. It'll still be cool, you know, because we're talking mid to end of March, but it'll be a lot drier. And the roads, most of them, God, 10 miles of them are so nice. 11 miles of it, so nice. Even the dirt roads, some of the nicest dirt roads I've ever seen. Like flat clay, like packed clay. It was great. It's just that last mile. That's where it really starts to get you. That last mile's pretty rough. And that's too far away. You can't park the cars and just leave them on the side of the road a mile from where you're staying, you know. Oh, so we're probably coming up on the junction soon? Mayor? Oh, okay. Meyer? Are you sure? I thought we already passed that. Wasn't that where the cheap gas was? The Gilligan's?
Yeah. Is that up ahead?
No. We passed that a while ago. I think we're about to hit the 17.
Yeah, it's a little bit up here.
Take the 17 back.
It's not closed northbound.
Good.
Southbound.
If they're not making it bigger, I swear to God. Just one more fucking lane, that's all I ask.
Why not just put in 2 more lanes?
Yeah, right? Like, really plan ahead. You know, like, oh, it's blowing up now. Let's give it a little while. You You never know when it's going to blow up some more. Maybe let's plan on growth. I mean, there's a Sub. One of them Subarus. They don't have very high clearance. Carries all. Oh, mine's got the clearance of a Liberty or whatever. Is that the exhaust? Dual exhaust in the back? Look at how low that is. That's not very good clearance.
It's not.
His might be different. Subaru. Lesbian wagon.
Can you say that?
What do you mean?
Lesbian wagon?
Was lesbian like a protected word or something? Is that offensive? Is lesbian offensive? Do I need to check my privilege? Just to banter around words like that?
1.9 miles from junction.
Is it gonna be a right?
Yeah. It'll probably just throw you onto it.
I hope so. Because I'm sick of this shit. I need some proper city. I need to get on a real road. One where you can tell what direction you're going. Easily. Oh, Ashford. We hardly knew ye. I can tell you this, though. Ashford is a shithole. Not all traffic mistakes aside, I did not want to stop. I would hate to have to go to the bathroom there. Where we go camping, we're not too far from like a bathroom. Like, 20 minutes down the road, you can go to the bathroom. There's one even way closer than that, but it's at like by the forester station or something, and it's like a fancy outhouse. So it's not much stuff. But you can go to a proper bathroom 20 minutes down the road. And it's even a Circle K. So, you can get some iced coffee. As Leon would say, best coffee in the world.
Yeah, I could go for the best coffee in the world right now. I'm super tired.
Yeah, that was a draining trip. I'm not going to lie.
I'm hoping that we have enough energy for drinking with the boys.
I'm pretty sure we'll be able to muster something.
We said that, LOL, okay. Which I don't know what that means.
I'm sure it means he's on his way. Well, he knew it was going to be an all-day thing. I told him we were planning on doing it 9 to 6. And so, 10 to 6:30 or something like that. And it's pretty right on. Well within the allotted time. This seems kind of strange. Oh, maybe that's 17 right there. Did I get on going the right way? All right. Well, here we are. Yeah, there's that stupid paint job again. Bumblebee. This looks like 17. It's got fucking traffic like 17. Thank you, Jesus, for getting us back to some semblance of civilization. You never appreciate the city more than when you go to like you're driving through Ashford, one way or another. We'll say.
The right way.
And the wrong way. Went the boy races way. We were all over Ashford. Really, just one road, but just a couple of ways,
All over Ashford.
All over
It
Ashford.
took us all 2 minutes.
I took a wrong turn, got lost, and it still took 2 minutes. It's not a lot. What would you say, 3 roads maybe? I'm going to count that one road, even though it loops around and goes the other way, as just one road, obviously. Obviously. Even if we didn't see both sides of it.
Oh, we should have chilled the
Jaeger?
Jaeger.
No, that's not how you do Mazel Tov. We should have chilled all of it. That's going to be disgusting. More Mazel Tov and more Jaeger. That's how you do it.
Can you call Steph?
Yeah. Not with the video running though. Google. Oh, let me try with this.
Please say a command after the beep. Available commands are call, phone book, recent calls, messaging, or
Call
select
Stephanie.
phone.
Call Stephanie Whitaker.
Stephanie Whitaker. Please say dial or correction.
Dial.
Dialing. Stephanie Whitaker.
Complained that I was being too noisy.
And we're back, internet
Hello.
people. So we can make calls while the camera and everything's running, but it kicks us off the call. I'm sorry, it kicks us off the camera. It just becomes the call. So whatever, it worked. We're throwing all the liquor in the fridge and freezer because we forgot to do that before we left.
Which would have been a good thing.
Which would have been a good thing to do, yes. Because there's nothing like, well, I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say you don't want a warm grape ale. No. Oh, I should have her put the, hey, shoot her a text and tell, no. We haven't put the mountain. We should stop and get some ice, though, just to be safe.
Smart.
We'll stop by and we'll pick up some of those things
Stop by
from
a
Ling
Circle K maybe or something?
Yeah, you want to stop by a Circle K?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
You want some coffee?
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of late for coffee,
I
but
love coffee.
you know, you don't have to work tomorrow.
I don't.
Tomorrow is a religious holiday.
Unfortunately, I don't have any gummies left.
We call it St. Trump's Day, also known as President's Day. And that's where we have,
Did you call it St. Trump's Day?
yeah, Saint Trump's Day.
Jesus Christ.
We were in Trump country for sure. Like,
Oh, it was pretty red up there.
yeah, like Confederate flags and try to take my guns signs, stuff like that. No trespassing signs in Spanish. They're worried illegals are going to storm their compound's gates. He just doesn't want to be too close to the edge. You can't blame him for that. They put up a secondary wall because too many people were hitting the wall that separates it from the edge. So what's that, safety pullout they're building? Too many people are flying off the road right there.
No, that's the problem. Nobody wants to pull out nowadays.
What's that down there? Okay. Well, what about the little town?
Black Canyon City.
Black Canyon City.
No trees. Now we can get some trees by the water.
It's really green. If you didn't know that green was like,
Scrub bushes.
yeah. You would just see really pretty.
All right, we're getting some burning plastic smell. I don't think it's
Brakes.
us. Yeah, it's probably that big truck up there. 'Cause I'm barely putting anything on it. We don't have any of the brakes on. I don't think that's us. I'm not getting any dashboard lights.
No, that's not you. Somebody's riding the brakes from the road. Fucking
I'm actually not even pushing the brakes with it. I'm just not giving it any gas. I just always worry when you start smelling stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I bet it's like an instinctual thing. Oh my God, something's burning my house. All right, anything else you wanted to add, Leon? We're going to get some quotes from a grading company to see if they can go in that far. We had really good cell service literally the whole time.
well, you guys did.
Well, we did.
I have.
What do we have?
Mobile.
Sprint?
I
think we have Verizon.
Mint Mobile, but
It's good in the city. It's good for what you need it for.
it's good in the city.
We have Verizon, and it worked great. We had GPS all the way out there. We lost GPS more getting up there. Once we got up there, not a problem. We even ran into a little bit of a technical issue with the 4x4, where it wouldn't kick out a 4x4 after we did it. So I had to look up a YouTube video on how to fix it, which was just reverse for 5 feet, which worked like a charm. But, you know, we were able to watch the video. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So,
Super helpful.
Yeah, right? So that's nice.
I mean, what would we have done if you weren't able to watch that video?
It probably would have fixed itself when we got lost driving around in the middle of fucking nowhere and then like reversed and turned around to go back. Because we didn't want to get on the highway. Because when you're in 4x4, you don't want to drive over 60 miles an hour. If you're in 4x4 high. If you're in 4x4 low, you probably don't even want to drive like 35 miles an hour.
Hey, do you think this guy's ever gone off-road that thing?
No. Look at how clean it is. Just for starters. He's about to get lapped. It doesn't look like a single scratch on the whole thing. It's a real pretty truck. Without even trying, he's getting dusted by the boy racer. But, I mean, it's nice that it's so big, I guess. I just put bigger tires on the back. You think he can tell? I bet he can tell. He's probably just jealous because we just blew past him without even thinking about it.
Covered in mud.
Covered in mud.
This truck's probably never even seen mud.
Yeah. We get in the mud. It's what we do. Boy Racer likes to get dirty.
Boy Racer gets
Yeah, we were all over the place. There was some pretty iffy shit. If we were driving a truck like his, I don't know if it would be easier or harder. Because, you know, driving a truck like that, something like that, big and lifted.
I don't know.
Because it's hard to say. I mean, you'd sink in so much more.
So much higher.
Yeah, oh, I didn't even think about that. We had a couple of big bumps.
Yeah.
We want to keep the smaller tires in front, the big in the back.
No. I'm going to get the bigger tires. The problem is I'm cheap as shit, so I don't buy new tires. I'm not going to drop $600 or $700. I have to get 6 full-size tires because obviously, Boy Racer, 2 full-size spares. So, you know, what would that cost new? They're probably $200 a piece. I don't got that kind of money, so I get them used, $60. But they only had 3 of the bigger size, so that's why I did it the way I did.
Baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. I after tip, I didn't even drop $180. You know, I want to say $200. No, not even, because I want to say they gave me a deal. It was $160, and then I gave them a $10 tip because it was 2 guys, and they did it fast. So I just gave them $10 to split, $5 a piece. The whole thing took 20 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. And that Tire Dogs, man. I do commercials for them for free. Shout out to Tire Dogs, Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
Tire Dogs, D-A-W-G, because it's spelled stupid. But they've been around since the late 80s, and they're great. They're huge in this part of the valley. They're actually the ones that supply tires to all the Lantana places and stuff. So when you go to those little tire shops around Arizona, Phoenix, this is where they get their tires from. They're like the wholesaler. But they do the best work. And it's like a family or something. I know the owner and his son, and they've got the same girl running the front desk. She gets out and actually changes tires when it's busy. And then they had this little Hispanic fella. He's like the floor manager. And he's been there as long as I can remember. He's quick. And he knows me, which is cool. I like going places where they know me. Since I'm friendly and tip, I always get good service. I like that.
See, that's what we need.
Something like that, you couldn't get that out there. There's no way. Well, maybe not this time of year. You would have to drive it in there. You would. I didn't get to see it. Was it just a regular excavator, or did it have some sort of like chewer wheel on the front?
No, it just had a giant blade on the front.
Because Leon was talking about some sort of ditch witch thing, and when he first said it, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Ditch witch. But I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Because it's like a big wheel, spiky wheel that digs up the dirt, right? I'm like, oh shit. You get one that's, you know, like 3 or 4 across, and you can really like, you know, dig up some dirt, at least level off all the bumps, and then come back it down, kind of move it around with a rake or something. I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
Get some of the small rocks that are on the banks.
Yeah, so what we were talking about doing, so like I said, we're going to give it 1 month, because I'm nowhere near ready to make an offer on it. So what we're going to do is go back next month when it's drier, and we'll get a much better idea then. And if it's good, we'll probably put in our offer. We'll shoot our shot, so to speak. And
$30,000.
yeah, it's labeled right now. It's 40 acres for $35,000, and I think my wife, who we talked to, you guys didn't get to see, that's what cut off the video. She was like, maybe we could use that to our advantage, those 2,000 feet. Because if we do have to pay to get it graded, because to have a company come in to put in some sort of like a slab or a septic tank, that kind of work, like real work to build the structure, it would need to be graded. There's no way you could get equipment in and out of there without grading it. There's no way you could get a trailer, say, to haul cows or something, for example.
We need to see how the other road out is.
And it's
like that road could be super nice.
It's true. It could be. Because we came up, I guess we drove up the highway and then we came off and then drove one way in. Now the road, I told you, runs through the 1/3 of the property. That road keeps going. It's called Arizona Road or something like that. And it goes all the way to another road that connects to the other side of Ashford. I almost called it Kingman. And so there is at least those two ways out. And Dan was looking at the map and he found at least a third way in and out. Because say, for example, the way we came in, there's no way you're making that in a car. What if there's another way in that's easier? Now, maybe you have to go farther, but it's a lot smoother of a ride in. So we won't know. And we were afraid because getting in there was rough. And I can't understate that enough. I can't overstate that enough. Whatever the fuck you want to say. Because, I mean, if it wouldn't have been such a high-performance vehicle with such a high-quality driver, I mean, we wouldn't have made it in, let alone back out. So we decided that it would be better to go back the way we came, because we already knew what we were getting into, than to try to go an unknown way to get out. Because the roads were literally that rough. Realistically, quarter mile, half mile of rough roads, but those quarter mile, half mile, few thousand, couple thousand square feet, whatever you want to call it, were rough. Were very rough. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to get some quotes on some grading. We're going to go back in a month, and if it's a much easier of a ride, which I have a feeling it will be, there'll be no snow, and hopefully it won't be as wet by the time we do our camping trip. Shit, we could already have owned the property.
Yeah, spring break, baby.
Spring break. So we're gonna go up. We're gonna go up next month in March, mid to the end of March. Even though I think spring break's at the beginning of March, I want to give it at least a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? It needs to dry out. Because, like I said, I'll take some pictures of what the truck looks like and try to cut it in a little bit. I'll just add some of it to it. And this will be after we get home, because we haven't really been stopping on the way back. We stopped once to get food. And that's right where we picked up, is when we left Burger King. Just because I wasn't going to try the Fish Shack. Danny's Fish Shack, whatever the fuck it was called. Let's just say I'm not a big fan of the local flavor.
I don't understand why you weren't brave enough to try fried fish in the middle of Arizona.
In like
a town that the population is probably 1,000
hours away from home.
In like the dead middle of fucking Arizona. You couldn't pick like the center of Arizona more. Trump country. They don't even have a hospital.
Yeah.
So this is what concerns me. Because, I mean, by any measure of the metric, I am a city boy through and through. I go camping once a year. I go play in the snow once a year. That's about the extent. I guess I go camping twice, because I go once with my family and once with the boys. But that's about the extent of my foray into the wilderness. Right? We go hiking.
Great wide open.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll go to Papago. We like to go up to Four Peaks and hike, because that's like the edge of the wilderness. It's where Fountain Hill stops. In the low desert, or I guess beginning of the high desert. I don't even know what that just reached New River.
Yeah. Hey. The really great town behind it or whatever.
Oh yeah, we're on one side of the mountain. There's actually a nice little town.
This area, I think like this time of year it looks really nice.
Well,
Oh no, am I thinking of Rye?
no, Rye's on the B line. Sunflower is that nice little town. That is on the B line up towards Rye. It's right before Rye actually. And you get off the freeway and you drive around. And there's like that valley. It's like the hidden valley, and it's got a river that runs through it and it's green. This is not, because this elevation is only 2,000 square feet. So we're like in the desert here. We're basically on the edge of the city. No, because I guess Anthem. Well, here's Anthem. So we're actually in Anthem.
The edge of the city.
Yeah, we're on the very, very edge of the city. This would be considered the burbs, because you're probably half an hour from the city. 20 minutes, half an hour at least. I kind of live on the burbs, but I'm more centrally located to downtown. Oh, there he goes. There goes that big truck.
Nice.
Yeah, we ran into some traffic, and we ran into you. Just to give you some idea what we're working with here.
I bet you he's got a micro penis.
I mean, look at how low that is. Look at the ground clearance in the back.
It doesn't.
Is that even 4x4?
It is. It's like you have a body lift, but his differential isn't.
Yeah, because I mean that can't be 8 inches,
Maybe 8.
10 inches if you're lucky. I mean, the Boy Racer's got more clearance than that. We couldn't have made it in that. Imagine how many times we would have bottomed out like that.
Yeah, quite a few.
Quite a few. That's insane.
I know you pay all that for a.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't see anything that said 4x4 on there. Usually 4x4 trucks like to, advertise or whatever. Right?
Yeah. Typically.
Tip.
So I would imagine that this micro penis Chevy driver doesn't have 4-wheel drive.
It does not look like he has 4-wheel drive. Because I only see, like you said, the differential, the rear differential or whatever. The drivetrain, I'm not even sure because I'm not like a big truck guy. I don't see the front one, I only see the back one.
Okay, that might be 8 inches on the ground. That's still not a lot.
Yeah, see, look, I don't think there's a front one. I don't think that's 4x4.
It's not.
It seems weird to get a truck like that lifted. Oh, I guess that's why he has the body lift. Because he doesn't need more clearance. It's not really an off-road truck. It's probably...
Why get it like this?
Yeah, exactly. It's probably more for... that kind of truck's probably more for hauling stuff. Because I think, if I remember correctly, it was a 2500.
No, I think that he's got a tiny penis. And it just makes
He's
him feel big.
overcompensating for something else. My penis might not be big, but look at how big my truck is.
Yeah. See?
He does. I mean, I haven't really changed lanes in quite a while.
P.S. The Boy Racer is not a large truck.
Oh, I guess PPS is it's a medium-sized truck at best.
Yeah.
It's a Nissan Frontier 2018 4x4 SV model. I just have the standard suspension, but I do have bigger tires in the back. It's really the only actual modification I've done. I want to say cool skid plate, but there's no skid plate.
There was no 4-wheel drive on that.
There was no 4-wheel drive on that. You'd be able to see it, right?
Yeah. And like you said, it was also say on the side of the vehicle.
Yeah, and it looked like he had the wheels kicked out. You know, if you do that, I had somebody explain to me one time, and it made me laugh. Because usually you put the weight, like if you look at a car like that GMC, the trucks, the wheels are right under the edge of the car, right? So all the pressure goes down onto the wheels. When you have them kicked out like that, there's actually like a suspension that is tilted like this. So the instead of being down on the tires, it's down on the suspension or whatever, and then there's like a weird angle to it because they got to put a little thing that makes it stick out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sit like a normal car does. So if you go out too far, that's where you see like those weird lowriders with the angled thing. It's because the thing that they're stuck out on is bending down because the pressure point's not on the tire, it's on whatever's next to the tire. Yeah, I'm not obviously explaining it very well, but something to that effect.
Well, you're not a car doctor.
I'm not a car doctor.
You're just jamming.
Hope you like jamming too. She's NAU, Flagstaff, taking the 17 down from Flagstaff. Looks like she's a cheerleader.
Big city.
Back to the big city. So I'm not sure what NAU's famous for. Political science?
Lumberjacks.
No. What is their specialty? Are they like a hospital or a medical? They like a lawyer? I don't know.
Lava tubes.
Lava tubes? There's some sort of lava tube trainers. Okay.
Also, fossils.
I like these Sequoias. These are the big Toyotas, SUVs. You know, they'd be like the, I don't know what the Yukon or
That's the kind of car
Suburban.
you should step.
Shit. She wouldn't even drive the fucking 4Runner. 4Runner's half that size. Maybe that's a little hyperbole. 4Runner's a lot smaller than that.
She would get in an accident reversing it out of the driveway.
Yes, parking it would probably be the biggest concern. She wouldn't drive it. She would look at it and be like, it's too big. We're coming up on some sort of flashing lights, so I have a feeling traffic's about to start slowing down. You want to talk us out, Leon? You want to talk us out? Hey, is that your Bumblebee?
It is.
It is your Bumblebee.
Nice.
You stopped in the gore point too. Oof. Oofa.
Yeah, cops don't like that shit.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to drive a bright yellow sports car. You want to drive something like this.
It's a shame you flipped that fucking camera around. That would have been good to catch.
That would have been good to catch.
That would have been pretty funny. All right, so this has been
On the road with BP.
On the Road with BP. I am Leon,
Your host.
and this has been On the Road with BP.
Maybe like, you know, our trip back from Ashford after looking at some property up north, 40 acres and a mule. All right, we'll leave it at that.
That's good. Like cars. An hour later.
Bumblebee now.